I think we got like one or two more hurdles to go through.
He says that this is Biden's stock.
What's the timeline on that?
I don't even know.
January 20th.
I don't.
Tariffs will soon
It could be a month, as far as I know. I'm hoping that it's in this month. May is a
threatening
good
legal action
look
against
if
the
it's
New
May.
York Times over how the great
Yep. Be right before the summer. Be good.
Yeah.
media company. Here's Michael Wallace.
Trump has already sued Paramount, the parent company of CBS, accusing 60 Minutes of deceptively editing an interview with his Democratic opponent Kamala Harris last year. In a social media post today, Trump says he is considering going after the New York Times for tortious interference because the Times has quoted legal experts who believe the president's case against Paramount is baseless.
With a week before the deadline to get a real ID, the Better Business Bureau says it expects scams to pop up, although they note there haven't been any and active scams reported, at least not yet. Connecticut spokeswoman Kristen Johnson says this is the biggest giveaway.
If you stumble upon a website that offers a real ID without an in-person visit, it's fake.
You can only obtain a real ID in person at your local DMV, as well as participating DMV AAA offices and Nutmeg State Financial Credit Union locations beginning May 8th. Everyone over the age of 18 will need a real ID to board a domestic flight, access federal facilities, and enter certain secure locations. And the Supreme Court hearing arguments over a taxpayer-funded charter religious school in Oklahoma.
Here we have, in Oklahoma, people who want to set up the nation's first online Catholic school that would be a charter school, direct federal funding. And the question is, does that violate the Establishment Clause, or does not allowing that actually violate some people's free exercise clause rights? It's a real tension between those two clauses.
That's legal contributor Jessica Levinson. WTIC News Time is 3:05 from the WTIC 24-hour traffic network. Still have that crash down in North Haven. It's northbound on 91 between exits 9 and 10. 2 left lanes taken out as a result. We've got the repair work going on in Manchester, 384 east between 5 and 7. That's left and center lanes. 291 eastbound between just before exit 4. We've got the right lane closed for repair work. Still working in the Hartford area on 84 east out of West Hartford between exits 43 and 44. Repair work being done in the left lane there. And we've got some delays to report on 95 out of West Haven. Northbound congestion between exits 41 and 43. That's orange to West Haven. Let's check in with the WTIC Weather Center forecast.
For the rest of our Wednesday afternoon, sunny to partly cloudy, breezy and pleasant, with a high of 70. Tonight, mainly clear, a cooler night, bordering on chilly with the low down to 41. Now, a nice day for Thursday with a blend of sun and clouds, the high up to 70 again. Overcast Thursday night, the low 51. Now, Friday, a bit of an active day, cloudy and warm. We'll have showers and thunderstorms around, breezy in the afternoon, too. And some of those storms could produce localized damaging wind gusts, hail, and flooding downpours. The high of 78 on Friday. Now, Saturday, cloudy, a couple of more showers, but still quite mild with the high 77. Periods of rain and a thunderstorm Saturday night. Then Sunday, cloudy but dry. Not as warm, but still pleasant for us. Mild with a high of 66 on Sunday. I'm meteorologist Jason Caterina in the WTIC Weather Center.
Dow's down 192. NASDAQ's down 173. And the S&P is down 40 points. For these stories and more, go to WTIC.com. I'm John Silva, WTIC 1080 News.
I'm elder law attorney Haley Allaire. Our greatest reward is happy clients telling us that they're very thankful for our help.
Hi, I'm Mark, and my family's from Bristol. Allaire Elder Law met my #1 goal when I decided to work with them, to make sure my parents and their assets were protected legally so they can enjoy the rest of their time together and not worry about becoming one of the Title 19 horror stories. And our family cannot thank them enough.
Find out more at allaireelderlaw.com. That's ALLAIRE.
At Ayala Home Services, we handle hundreds of well water problems a year. We believe hearing your options to get water flowing in your house shouldn't cost a thing. That's why we offer free estimates for wells with no water. Plus, get your water back as soon as the same day. Contact the trusted well professionals at ALO Home Services when you call, click, or text today and say hello, ALO, call for details. Licensed for safety. P1027768, D104014665, E1185643, S3308699, HIC 628926, SM3004646, HOD 635, HOD 223.
Coverage varies by plan. View contracts and exclusions at endurancewarranty.com. Auto repair bills are through the roof. $3,000 to replace.
Hold on a minute.
$4,000 for a blown engine. And if your manufacturer's warranty is expired, you'll have to cover it all out of pocket. You need an Endurance Auto Protection Plan. No matter what the mileage, if your car is under 20 years old, Endurance can get you covered on the engine, electrical system, transmission, AC, drivetrain, and more. Endurance has plans for any budget. Repairs can be done at the certified mechanic of your choice, and they're paid directly with no middleman. Plans cover 24/7 roadside assistance, towing, battery jumps, fuel deliveries, tire changes, lockout services, and a 30-day money-back guarantee. Act now and get our elite benefits, including complete tire care and key fob replacement. A $2,000 value at no extra cost. With Endurance, you could never pay for cover again, so call now for your free quote. Call 800-253-6203. 800-253-6203. 800-253-6203.
Hey, shh. Calm down. The show is about to start. Reese on the Radio. Turn it up. Turn it up loud. Turn it up loud.
It's like a dream come true.
Turn on your radio. Reese on the Radio.
Yo, let's get it.
Due to the nature of this program, discretion does not exist. It's Reese on the Radio. Right now on WTIC News Talk 1080.
And a wonderful, wonderful Wednesday to every one of you nutmeggers and scallywags all across the fruited plain. It's Reese on the Radio on NewsTalk 1080 WTIC. Before we get down to business, I want to give a shout out to my good friend Jennifer Breen. I did her podcast today, and I wish her all the success. She did her second day, and she asked me to be a part of that. I used to work with her back in the WRKO days in Boston, and she's always been a supporter, and always been in my corner, and I love her for it, as many of you have been for so many years. So I appreciate her, and it was a pleasure to do that. I'm going to have her on the show very, very soon. Get her some publicity as well. I got plenty of news and plenty of views to talk about today. It is important to note that before you get out of here, and I know that it's just after lunchtime, but it is the last day.
It's peanut butter jelly time, peanut butter jelly time, peanut butter jelly, peanut butter jelly, peanut butter jelly with a baseball bat, peanut butter jelly, peanut butter jelly, peanut butter jelly with a baseball bat.
And I want to thank the folks at Between Rounds, the Bagel Bakery and Sandwich Cafe, our sponsor, our friends, our family, for doing this for the whole month. I can't believe that it's, came and went. We are already here at April 30th, ending the Reese's Peanut Butter and Jelly Sandwich Charity, which gives $1 of every sandwich to the Friendly Hands Food Bank, who, again, I have a relationship with long-lasting now, and hope to continue that into the future, the bright future of Reese on the Radio. Anyway, with that being said, what else do I have? Any other housekeeping? Nothing I could think of. Oh, we've got an emergency service thing coming out at 3:26. Okay, good. So we'll do that as well. So I was thinking about this 3 o'clock this morning. I was woken up by something that was pressing me. And I don't know why, but I was either dreaming about it. And when I woke up, my wife, by the way, let me tell you this about my wife. So my wife is a vampire. Well, only when we go to bed. There can be no light shining from anywhere, like a small little blinking light or anything. Like if it's anywhere, if my phone goes off and it lights up the bedroom, she will lose her mind. It will wake her up and she will lose her mind. I wake up in the morning to my nightstand where every bit of my electronics is facing down so the light doesn't bother her. And even then, if the light shines from underneath, she still loses it. You can hear her go, no, the damn phone. She does. So I woke up at 3 o'clock in the morning. She's dead asleep. And I grab my phone because again, this is bothering me. And I tuck it under the cover. I throw the covers and throw them over my head so that there's no light shining. I'm like a kid doesn't want his parents to be catching him, on his tablet. And I go in and I look this story up. And I said, yes, I knew this story was there. But I don't want to get ahead of myself. Let's go back. I saw this article in the Hartford Courant today. And the article says, our people are being deported. Connecticut senator says state needs to stand up for immigrants. ACLU and Senator Winfield call for passage of the Trust Act. The senator in question here is Senator Gary Winfield. Now, Gary, you and I don't know each other. I don't know what your morals are, what your religious leanings are. I know you're a Democrat. I would assume you share liberal ideologies. You and I probably would disagree. I would probably suggest that you are a typical black liberal. And then again, that's not said disparagingly. I think that's what you are. You would probably agree. You probably push back a little bit, but I don't think there's any daylight between you and the Democrat Party or any other African American who's a Democrat. I don't think there is. I think you are cookie cutter black Democrat. Okay? And that's okay. I am a black conservative. You probably think that I am a cookie cutter black conservative. You would sooner compare me to a Larry Elder. You would not see me as any individual. But then again, I think I'm going better standing than you are. Larry Elder would never be seen in a room, much less a planet with me, because Larry Elder is not my kind of conservative. He may be yours, but not mine. But let me get to this point. I'd like to make a plea to you and other liberals, specifically liberal men. Please, can you stop giving away your country to outsiders? It is your job to protect your family, your community, and this nation. But you are giving it away. And you are using ridiculous arguments like the browning of America. Let me say the thing that most people don't have the guts to say. What makes you think that because they are brown, they are righteous? What makes you think that because they are brown, they are pious? Perhaps we should stop using that terminology, but I'm going to go one step further. While you are telling the rest of us to lay down our patriotism, to lay down our sense of community, our sense of nationalism, so that people outside of it can live here any way they wish to, not having to ever assimilate to our way of life, and tell us that if we do not allow them to live their way of life wherever they came from, that we are in some way evil people. Even though damn well if we went into their countries, we would have to assimilate to their way of life, but we don't get the same treatment. I get it, but to hell with that. I'm telling you, just because they're brown, don't make them righteous. Here's why. Because in my view, if you cheated, you're a criminal. If you lied, you're a criminal. And that in and of itself makes you a bad person. If you are in hiding, you are a bad person. If you know that the Trump administration is coming through states and cities and neighborhoods grabbing evildoers, and you have not called ICE or gotten your affairs in order, and you're sitting in some basement huddled with masses, you have no intention of getting your affairs in order. This also makes you evil. Even when you know the jig is up, you are not trying to correct yourself. Even when you are given the olive branch, told to get on that app, self-deport, and we'll allow you the way to get back in. You refuse, and you go into hiding. And guys like Senator Gary Winfield here is assisting people and telling everybody else to get up and resist and to keep those people from doing the thing they need to do most, and that is get their affairs in order. Have you heard anybody tell them to do this? William Tong? Have you heard anybody tell these people, hey, get your affairs in order so they can't come and pick you up? Manuel, Consuela, Carmen, whomever. Not once have they ever brought it up. The only thing they keep screaming about is, you need to protect these people. They're not protecting them by telling them. They're telling them to know what your rights are. No one has ever said, hey, call ICE. But Gary, I got to ask you, why do you keep standing up for folks that you don't know and you can't even identify? You can't even tell us who they are and where they are. You don't know their names. You don't know where they came from. You don't even know why they're here. But you're defending them more than you defend the people who are here. The people who elected you. Because, by the way, these strangers from foreign lands, they didn't elect you. Or did they? Because that would be a problem in and of itself. But I digress. These are not your constituents. Are they? You need to protect your family. But I want to tell you a cautionary tale. I want to tell all liberal men who's supposed to be protecting their people, protecting their families. I want to tell them a cautionary tale. This may be a good story for every liberal in the country. Let's go back to 2015. This article was written, by the way, in 2023, but it goes all the way back to 2015. It's an article written by The Guardian. It's about a small little Midwestern town. The headline reads, "A sense of betrayal. Liberal dismay as Muslim-led U.S. city bans pride flags." Many liberals celebrated when Hamtramck, Michigan, elected a Muslim-majority council in 2015. But a vote to exclude LGBTQ flags from city property has soured relations. In 2015, many liberal residents in Hamtramck, Michigan, celebrated as their city attracted international attention for becoming the first in the United States to elect a Muslim-majority city council. This sounding familiar? This was an answer to the Republican presidential candidate Donald Trump's first campaign. This week, many of those residents watched in dismay as the now fully Muslim and socially conservative city council passed legislation banning pride flags from being flown on the city's property that had, like many others, been flown around the country, had been intended to, like many others, been flown or intended to celebrate the LGBTQ community. Muslim residents packed City Hall, erupting in cheers after the council unanimous vote. And on Hamtramck's social media posts, the taunting as being a relentless F-word, derogatory term for homosexuals, city, F-word city, read one post, emphasized with an emoji of a bicep flexing. In a tense monologue before the vote, council member Mohammed Hassan shouted this justification at LGBTQ supporters. I'm working for the people, what the majority of the people like. While Hamtramck is still viewed as a bastion of multiculturalism, the difficulties of local governance and living among neighbors with different cultural values quickly set in following the 2015 election. Some leaders and residents are now bitter political enemies, engaged in a series of often vicious battles over the city's direction. And the pride flag controversy represents a crescendo in tension. There's a sense of betrayal, said the former Hamtramck mayor Karen Majowski, who is Polish-American. We supported you when you were threatened, and now our rights are threatened. And you're the one doing the threatening, she says. For about a century, Polish and Ukrainian Catholics dominated politics in Hamtramck, a city of 28,000 surrounded by Detroit. By 2013, largely Muslim, Bangladeshi, and Yemeni immigrants supplanted the white Eastern Europeans. Though the city remains home to a significant population of those groups, as well as African Americans, whites and Bosnians and Albanian Americans, according to the 2020 census, some 30 to 38% of Hamtramck's residents are Yemeni descent, and 24 are of Asian descent. They are largely Bangladeshi. After several years of diversity on the council, some see the irony in the all-male Muslim-elected government that does not reflect the city's makeup. The resolution, which also prohibits the display of flags with ethnic, racial, and political views, comes at a time when LGBTQ rights are under assault worldwide, and other U.S. cities have passed similar bans, with the vast majority driven by often white political conservative Americans. They elected all Muslims. They were trying to combat Islamophobia. They got the council they elected, they patted themselves on the back, and then they lost their rights. Come home, liberals. We'll take care of you. But they wanted this. And in an odd way, that's what Senator Gary Winfield is asking for today. They're giving up this country to third worlders who broke the law and asking all of us to adhere. But soon that's going to be a step too far. In trying to acquiesce, in trying to placate these individuals and exacerbate the browning of Connecticut, Senator Gary Winfield's going to get exactly what he expects. And
20 seconds till the test.
That is exactly what you're going to get, my friend. A country you don't recognize anymore. That looks like a third world. And if you're not careful, you'll end up like Hamtramck. That's exactly what's happening. So if anything, maybe you should think twice about what you're asking for or what you're asking of us. That's all I got to say about that. We'll do our emergency test, which is coming up now. All right, we are clear. By the way, Senator Gary Winfield, the number is 860-522-WTIC, 860-522-9842. I'm sure you've been alerted to the fact that I was going to do my opening monologue about your Hartford Courant article. I know you didn't write it, but it was about you. I'd love to go back and forth, or as they say in New Haven, chop it up with you. But that's okay. We know that you probably don't want to. But the invitation is out there. Always fearless. Just to let you know. All right? Holla at your boy. We'll take a break. More news, more views when we return. It's Reese on the Radio on NewsTalk 1080 WTIC.
Are you on track for a successful retirement? Johnson Brunetti hosting a unique all-in-one event for those near or at retirement, moderated by me, Brian Shackman. Hear from JB Advisors, a licensed CPA, estate planning attorney, and Medicare specialist. Join us for dinner at the AquaTurf Club in Plantsville on May 1st at 6 p.m. Reservations are required. Visit event@jb.com to RSVP now. That's event@jb.com. Johnson Brunetti is a marketing name for the business of JB Capital and JN Financial. Investment advisory services offered through JB Capital LLC. Insurance products offered through JN Financial LLC.
The peace lily is so last year. Hey, has anyone worked with fiddlenecks?
Shelby's popular flower shop is in full bloom.
We just got a request for an arrangement that evokes air. Who's up for that challenge? No?
She needs to hire a floral designer to nip foliage faux pas in the bud.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. Our advanced matching helps find talented candidates so you can connect with them fast. Redeem your $75 credit at Indeed.com/credit. Terms and conditions apply.
Still getting around to that fix on your car? You got this. On eBay, you'll find millions of parts guaranteed to fit. Doesn't matter if it's a major engine repair or your first time swapping your windshield wipers. eBay has that part you need, ready to click perfectly into place for changes big and small. Loud or quiet, find all the parts you need at prices you'll love. Guaranteed to fit every time. But you already know that. eBay. Things, people, love. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
Attention. Have you racked up $10,000 or more in credit card debt? Are you barely getting by making minimum payments? With credit card debt reaching all-time highs, National Debt Relief is notifying consumers about significant debt relief options currently being made available to help those with overwhelming credit card debt. These options may reduce a large portion of credit card debt for those who qualify. You don't need to declare bankruptcy or take out a consolidation loan, and you may only have to pay back a fraction of what you owe, even if you have bad credit. National Debt Relief has already reduced the credit card debt for more than 550,000 consumers, so don't wait. If you owe $10,000, $20,000, or even $100,000 in credit card debt, you can now take advantage of this financial debt relief as the cost of living continues to skyrocket. To check what debt reduction you may qualify for, call 800-207-4545. That's 800-207-4545. Once again, that's 800-207-4545.
And now, a WTIC news update.
3:30, good afternoon. I'm John Silva, WTIC 1080 News. In Middletown, city officials have more questions than answers regarding the arrest of an individual by Immigration and Customs Enforcement outside the courthouse on Tuesday. Mayor Ben Florsheim says black SUV pulled up to the courthouse. Several individuals in FBI garb and one with police written across the vest got out, arrested the person who'd been there for a court appearance. The mayor says Middletown police weren't given a heads up about the detail, and officials are seeking additional information. 3 juveniles and 1 adult male arrested Tuesday for their alleged part in a school disturbance. They say they were charged with breach of peace and interfering with police in the incident at Kennedy High School. Swingers Club in the Terryville section of Plymouth expected to shut down following action Tuesday night by the town's Zoning Board of Appeals. Parishioners at a nearby church were ticked off that the club operated in close proximity to Riverside Baptist Church. The club is threatening legal action. New Haven police say a person was stabbed early this morning around 12:30. Officers got the call to Criscolo Park. Victim, a 44-year-old male, being treated for minor injuries. Republican State Senator Henry Martin is encouraging residents to bring their electric bills to the Bristol Public Library on High Street this afternoon. Republicans and Democrats trying to figure out different ways to cut down on the state's high electric bills. Government reported today the U.S. economy shrank at an annual rate of 0.3% during the 0.3 percentage point during the first 3 months of the year. WTIC News Time 3:31. Here's the forecast.
For the rest of our Wednesday afternoon, it remains sunny to partly cloudy, breezy and pleasant with the high of 70. Mainly clear, bit chilly tonight with the low down to 41. Now another nice day for us on Thursday with a blend of sun and clouds, the high right back to 70 degrees. Overcast Thursday night, the low 51. Then Friday, cloudy and warm with showers and thunderstorms. Some of those could produce localized damaging wind gusts, hail, and flooding downpours, the high of 78. I'm meteorologist Jason Caterina in the WTIC Weather Center.
And from the WTIC 24-hour traffic network, down in Orange on the Wilbur Cross Parkway, the area between exits 56 and 57 is closed due to a tractor-trailer crash. Don't know why a tractor-trailer's on the parkway when it shouldn't be, but at any rate, that stretch is closed as they try to deal with that situation. For these stories and more, go to WTIC.com. I'm John Silva, WTIC 1080 News.
Hi, it's Tom Shattuck. As you know, my friend Phil has been on Awaken 180 weight loss. He just finished up week 11. Phil, how did it go?
Lost 4.4 pounds this past week. I'm down, I wish I could round up, I'm down 59.8 pounds.
Wow, you are unstoppable, Phil. Congratulations.
Thank you. Success breeds success, I think, Tom.
So how are all the other numbers, all the other stuff they check?
I went down a full point in visceral, which is always, they say, if you can lose 1 point in 2 weeks, that's good. So I did a full 1 point this week. Right now, my visceral rating is 16, and they want it to be between 12 and 13. So I'm getting close.
And that's great. And that's the stuff, that's the fat that surrounds your organs. So we want that gone. And it will be gone as Phil lives his best life with Awaken 180 weight loss. There are thousands upon thousands of stories just like Phil's, and yours can be one of them. Call them today at 844-346-1800 or online at awaken180weightloss.com.
At Progressive, we're making things easier. We'll help you bundle your home and car insurance together so you can save on both. Learn more at progressive.com or 1-800-PROGRESSIVE.
Hi, everybody. It's Brian Green from the Commercial Break Podcast. It's likely you've heard of the show if you're directly related to me or you follow our MySpace page. But I'm not here to talk to those three listeners. I'm here to appeal to people who haven't heard the show. Along with my co-host, Kristen Joy Hoadley, we're taking a deeper look at the topics that are affecting our youth today. Like, who are the people who are dating ghosts? Where did all these pickup artists come from? And why doesn't my preacher have a nicer private jet? We understand that these are the issues you really want to get to the bottom of. The Commercial Break is now available on the Odyssey app or wherever you find your podcasts.
Men, is good enough really what you want with your sex life? This is Dale for Northeast Men's Health. And if erectile dysfunction is making for a bad bedroom experience for you and your partner, you should call us because you want your intimacy to be fantastic, both for you and for the one you love. At Northeast Men's Health, our treatments have success rates of well over 90%. And because we're a medical practice focused on men's sexual health, we can offer many treatment options and even combine treatments to find the right one for you. Which means if you're like most of our patients, we can likely get you performing like you haven't in years. You could even last up to an hour or more and make sex great again. So make an appointment and make a change from good enough to really good. For just $99, you'll get a medical consult, blood work, and if medically advised, a test dose. And if that test dose doesn't work in the office, your visit is free. Call 800-930-5956. That's 800-930-5956. Or go to northeastmenshealth.com. That's northeastmenshealth.com. We have 5 offices across the Northeast to serve you. Northeast Men's Health, Romantic Restorative Health Practice.
Hey, how'd you get your water heater fixed so fast?
Aiello Home Services, same-day plumbing. I gave them a call, and they had a plumber on their way. They even sent the plumber's real-time location, so I knew when they would be here.
Did you say same day? That's crazy.
If you need same-day plumbing, call, click, or text today and say, hello, Aiello. Call for details. Licensed for safety. P1027768, D1040145, E1185643, S3308699, HIC 628926, SM3004646, HOD 635, HOD 223.
A successful retirement doesn't just happen. It requires a plan that is custom built to suit everyone's individual financial situation. Every Saturday at 3, we share vital information on how to build and live a successful retirement. It's On the Money with Jay Dorso. Retirement strategies on building income and proper protection from the pitfalls and the latest news in the retirement universe. On the Money with Jay Dorso, 3 p.m. this Saturday on WTIC News Talk 1080.
At University of Maryland Global Campus, we give our students credit where credit is due. Credit for deciding in the middle of rush hour traffic to go back and get their bachelor's and a promotion. Credit for managing 3 kids, 2 dogs, and a full-time job to pursue an MBA. And credit for serving in the military by day so they can study cybersecurity at night. For over 75 years, we've been helping students receive the credit they deserve. With more than 135 degrees and certificates, students at UMGC can use prior learning or relevant experience to earn up to 90 credits toward a bachelor's, and graduate students can transfer up to 12 credits toward their master's. At UMGC, you'll find everything from online to hybrid courses and lifetime career services to scholarship opportunities, making your education journey flexible, fast, and affordable. Apply now and save with no application fee. Classes start May 14th. Learn more at umgc.edu. Certified to operate in Virginia by...
Here we go.
Reese on the radio, making sense of the
It's
news.
peanut butter jelly time, peanut butter jelly time,
No
peanut butter
sense at
jelly,
all.
peanut butter
Now on
jelly, peanut butter jelly.
WTIC News Talk 1080.
It's peanut butter jelly time, peanut butter jelly time, peanut butter jelly, peanut butter jelly, peanut butter jelly with a baseball bat, peanut butter jelly, peanut butter jelly, peanut butter jelly with a baseball bat.
I just got to get that in there one more time. I totally forgot to take the darn thing off. Anyway, so peanut butter and jelly, make sure you get 2 between rounds. It's the last day today to pick up a Reese's peanut butter and jelly sandwich. In $1 of that purchase goes to our friends at Friendly Hands Food Bank. We'll get to the phones, 860-522-WTIC, 860-522-9842. Stupidest thing I read today, there are 2 of them, and both of them will be audio. So I will play those to you roughly at about the 4:30 hour. We'll play that for you. Very silly bits, if you will, but they're still the stupidest things that I've read today. This thing about the opening monologue, the part that really bothers me, is this wanton need to remake America into something no one could or would recognize. And I've never seen the hatred for those things. I remember when Barack Obama talked about the suburb and how there was a sense of evildoing to move to the suburbs. When I was growing up, that was the thing. And who here watched Good Times back in the 70s? The Norman Lear television shows. Hanging in a child line. So, I mean, I watched the premise of that show was getting out of Chicago in the hood. It was getting to a good place in life so they didn't have to worry about the violence and the crime and the dilapidated buildings, how the water didn't work, and the lead paint and the chipping paint. The objective was to get to a better life. Do we have to go into the Jeffersons? We're moving on up. One of the most popular African-American shows on television. The theme song was about a black man coming into his own and being able to look eye to eye with the so-called oppressive white man. Here was a guy who owned a chain of dry cleaners who worked his way from nothing into something. I watched those things in the 70s, knowing it was television, but understanding its relevance. It used to make me laugh as I used to hear these kids in the hood talk about, when I was in the hood, the pimps and the drug dealers, those were the people that we envied. And I would go to them, did you watch the Jeffersons? Oh, I love the Jeffersons. Did you watch Good Times? Oh, I watched Good Times. Did you watch the Brady Bunch? Yeah, of course I watched that. Gilligan's Island? Yeah, of course. And I would say, all of these shows, did you watch Different Strokes? Of course I did. And I said, what was the one overarching theme in every one of those programs? Was there a lesson to be learned? Was there something that was pushed in you, whether or not it was liberal or conservative, but was there something moral that was always pushed in those themes? Well, while you were watching the drug dealers or the pimps and the pushers out on the street, at the same time you were watching these television programs. Did you watch Sesame Street? These things talked about virtue, didn't they? Yes, they did. You chose to envy the bad guys. Wasn't like you didn't have access to good stuff. You ignored it. You weren't motivated by it. And there are people out there who, again, I looked at Archie Bunker. Sure, was he a bigot? Yes, but he was lovable. But so was So was George Jefferson. What the hell? He was a big bigot. I mean, he was supposed to be the carbon copy of Archie Bunker, sort of giving you both sides of that bigotry. But nonetheless, both of those men, in some way, in their volatile nature, were telling you a little bit of truth about us all, which is why we love them. There was a degree of honesty in the very crass things that they said and believed. It just was. But that, in all of it, if you look at George Jefferson, if you look at Archie Bunker, if you look at the Evans family, if you looked at Maude, every one of them, those shows talked about one thing: a better life, an American life. It never talked about tearing it down. It said that it had problems and they wanted better for it, but they never wanted to tear it down. We're in a different place today. Now they wish to inject people who know nothing about our values, nothing about our way of life. They don't even ask them to consider it. They bring them here and say, bring your own. I'm going to tell this story. Before I get to the phones, I thought about this also. This story was how I got to all of this. My ex-girlfriend, my friend, I hate always referring to her as my ex-girlfriend, but Laura, who still lives in Connecticut. She lives in Milford. Married now. When we would go up to Danbury, we would take the Metro North into Brewster. Sure, many of you have taken that trip. And maybe you'll have a loved one come and pick you up right across, because right there, it's the border of Connecticut and New York, right at Brewster. And I remember the first couple of times I went up there, we would stop and we'd wait for her brother Mark to drive in and pick us up and take us over to the family home. We'd stop at a bar waiting for him to pick up, and I always talked to bartenders. Actually, I just talked to anybody. If it was someone I didn't know who lived in a place I'd never been, I always wanted to get or understand what the local fare was. What was the local topic that everybody was, ingesting? I just loved that. And I remember asking the bartender there about the town of Brewster. And the conversation came up about how many of the immigrants that had come into Brewster had homes surrounded with chickens and other wildlife, and how many people in Brewster hated that. I know you know this story, and if you do, call me up. I want to hear from you if you know about this. But a lot of the people in the communities were upset because immigrants were coming in and they had chickens in the backyard. And I know it's commonplace now. People have gotten over it, but this is 20, 30 years ago. And the chickens and the goats, whatever it was that they had in the backyard, the local neighborhood hated that. The yokels couldn't stand that because it was affecting the purchase value of their home. They couldn't stand it. And I remember Laura talking about that. It's like, yeah, some of these people, they're not, their neighborhoods, their homes are not well kept, and they've got chicken wire everywhere. People in the neighborhood can't stand it because their property value goes down. And, the neighborhood in and of itself gets. And I thought about that and I said, wow. So what do you do? And the bartender said, nothing. What can you do? You say something and they could call you a bigot or a racist. You can't even protect your own because somebody will call you a racist or a bigot just for protecting your own. You're made to feel guilty about working hard and owning a home and turning it into something worth living in. And then someone comes in and destroys that, doesn't ask you. No one asked you if those people can come in, and you've got no control of it, but they do. What are you supposed to do? You are shamed into being quiet. With all due respect, that's what Senator Gary Winfield's saying here. It's saying you have to defend these people. How dare you say that you don't want it? How dare you suggest that it shouldn't be in your community? You have to accept it, and you have to fight for them to destroy what you grew up with, the values that you hold. It's insanity, but it's there. I'm going to go to Andrew in Infield. How are you doing, Andrew?
Hey, good. Look, tomorrow the state legislature is voting on a bill that would require health care service people to conduct abortions. And, thinking about that's against, it's a matter of conscience.
I'm not, is this being funded by someone? I mean,
no, it's not being funded. It's just requiring healthcare workers to perform abortions. I'll give you the number right here. Just a moment. I'm looking it up on my computer.
Well, let me put you on hold, and you can give that number to Roland real quick. I'm kind of on a different subject, so I don't want to lose my place here. All right. Let me address the chat room. So ATS says, so you don't believe in fair housing. Where did you hear that? Where did you hear it? I didn't say anything about fair housing. What did you hear me say? So I can reiterate it. And again, this is a liberal thing. It's not a tactic. It's a very failed tactic. And then let me explain this to liberals all across the nutmeg state. When you cannot address what I said, it's resonating, even with you. So you go off the beaten path talking about a subject I never mentioned. I said nothing about fair housing. The subject has nothing to do with fair housing. The subject has to do with whether or not your way of life can be interrupted without your permission by people you elected to represent you. Are you cool with that? Is that a good use of your vote? Or let's say your political contribution? To inundate you with a class of people, and that's what they are, be they poor or otherwise, to come into your community and disrupt the value of your home that you worked hard on. My question to you is, do you own anything? Do you own anything that has ever decreased in value because of someone else's wrongdoing? Because of someone else's intervention that you didn't ask for, vote for, or condone? If you're the type of person that is willing to have your property value go into the toilet so that you can have fair housing, I've got a solution for you. You do it. Don't demand it of everybody else. As I always say to everyone, you first. Don't ask us to do something you're not willing to do yourself. You first. And then when you prove to us that it works and that it's successful, it has been properly means tested, we'll be happy to follow you. But you'll never go that far because you're intellectually lazy and dishonest. We know that. So don't bore me. We'll take a break. More news, more views when we return. It's Reese on the Radio on NewsTalk 1080 WTIC.
We live in financially tough times. High grocery prices, high utility bills, and now the worry of tariffs and high car prices. That's why it makes sense to take advantage of outlet pricing. Buy your Subaru at the all-new Bertera Subaru outlet in Hartford and save hundreds, even thousands over other area Subaru dealers. Over 400 tariff-free Subarus are on sale at up to $4,000 off MSRP. Get a brand new tariff-free Forester for only $28,695 or lease for only $259 a month. Crosstreks lease for only $229 a month, plus huge selection of tariff-free Outbacks and Ascents all on sale. And with 0% financing on select new Subarus, you're guaranteed to save even more. Plus, every new Subaru at the Bertera Subaru outlet comes with a complimentary 100,000-mile warranty. So do what makes sense and buy your tariff-free Subaru at the all-new Bertera Subaru outlet in Hartford, exit 33 off I-91 at the corner of Weston and Jennings, or online at BerteraMotors.com. Call 888-799-1150 for details.
Coverage varies by plan. View contracts and exclusions at EnduranceWarranty.com. Auto repair bills are through the roof. $3,000 to replace the transmission. $4,000 for a blown engine. And if your manufacturer's warranty is expired, you'll have to cover it all out of pocket. You need an Endurance Auto Protection Plan. No matter what the mileage, if your car is under 20 years old, Endurance can get you covered on the engine, electrical system, transmission, AC, drivetrain, and more. Endurance has plans for any budget. Repairs can be done at the certified mechanic of your choice, and they're paid directly with no middleman. Plans cover 24/7 roadside assistance, towing, battery jumps, fuel deliveries, tire changes, lockout services, and a 30-day money-back guarantee. Act now and get our elite benefits, including complete tire care and key fob replacement. A $2,000 value at no extra cost. With Endurance, you could never pay for covered auto repairs again, so call now for your free quote. Call 800-253-6203. 800-253-6203. 800-253-6203.
Plus more these days, gas, groceries, and when's the last time you checked your wireless bill? When it comes to big wireless, if you're staying, you may be overpaying. Switch to Consumer Cellular to get the same fast nationwide coverage without the big wireless bill. Plans start at just $20 a month, and now for a limited time, new customers can get their second month free. Call 1-888-FREEDOM, visit a store near you, or consumercellular.com and start saving today. Plans include $5 credit for autopay and e-billing. Taxes, fees, and other third-party charges will apply. See website for additional details.
Johns Hopkins University has found that just mild hearing loss doubles your risk of dementia, so hearing loss isn't something to ignore.
But hearing aids are so expensive and ugly.
Not anymore. Meet Audion Hearing. You can get nearly invisible hearing aids without a prescription starting at $98 a pair, and they're ready to use right out of the box. It's of 2025 by Forbes Health, and with over 1 million customers, Audion is easy to trust. Visit audionhearing.com. That's AUDIEN hearing.com.
It's Reese on the Radio.
Ask your doctor if common sense is right for you.
On News Talk 1080 WTIC.
And we are back, Reese on the Radio, News Talk 1080. We're going back to the opening monologue about Senator Gary Winfield saying that we need to protect all the immigrants or stand up for immigrants in the country because they are at some great risk, he believes. He understands, and I know he does. This is a ploy to make everybody vulnerable and scared, knowing damn well that the people who are being removed are violent, criminal aliens who have already been deported and decided not to leave. So this disingenuous nature by the senator is obvious, and it's a ridiculous play. We'll get into that a little bit more, but I'm having a discussion in the chat room, and I think it's an interesting one because it shows you exactly what liberals do. They don't really pay any attention to the facts because, again, they don't have a leg to stand on, and two, they have no skin in the game. None. They don't have anything at risk. So they can do whatever they want with your community and your money. They can do whatever they want with, because, again, they are morally superior. And they've always got everybody's best interest, except yours, in mind. Let me read this nonsense. So we are stopping the inundation of people into your neighborhood based on what? Color? Isn't that a fair housing issue? Again, if you heard me, obviously you don't, because, again, you want to make this about color and you want to make it about racism. It's not what I said. Again, this is always about me, the citizen, first. It isn't saying that you don't help people. It isn't. It says help people, but do not ever infiltrate or inundate me with their issue. So let's say you want to move an apartment building, or you want to build an apartment building next to my home that I bought for $300,000. I did renovations on, is now worth $500,000. You decide that you, within your right, state government, to build affordable housing next door, and you want to bring in immigrants from a third world country. The question must be, and I should be able to ask, which, by the way, they have these town hall meetings for that. They have these actual community hearings for that. And what should be addressed first is not what you intend to do because you think it's the right thing. What you are to do is to make sure that what I invested stays whole. Why? Because I am a legal citizen. Because I have improved my home. And because I come first. I just do. I am the one who lives in the community. I am the one who invests in the community. When I got this upgrade, when I improved on my home to make it $200,000 more wealthy, I use local establishments in and around. I contributed to businesses in and around the state to improve on my home, improving the value of my home, and making my community pristine. Now, if you come in and you want to turn my neighborhood into some cesspool, or if you're going to bring in people that you haven't vetted, who are going to either add crime or add dilapidation to my community, destroying the value of my home that I put in, I deserve some recourse. But I know you don't care about that stuff. You know why? Because the fact that I can afford to improve my home makes me some sort of vicious, evil, greedy animal. And I reject that. I'm not going to take the high road because you feel morally superior. Let's get our first check of the weather and traffic with Jason Caterina and Mark. Oh, Mark Christopher's not in. We got Tom O'Hanlon, who's filling in today for Mark Christopher in the BPS Traffic Center. Okay, I'm done. Maybe Tom's not there yet?
He's coming now.
Okay, now he's coming.
I'm Tom O'Hanlon from the BPS Lawyers Traffic Center. On 84 westbound, we're busy from exit 56 to 46, and then 84 eastbound slowing down between exit 44 and 51. Founders Bridge has you tapping the brakes going westbound, crossing the river into Hartford, and delays on 91 southbound between exit 35A and 32. 91 northbound looks good. 291 is moving, so is Wilbur Cross. Route 2 is busy up into 84.
I hate to do
We are
this to
moving
you,
up
but can
Route
you
3.
find out what
And if you're heading down 91
Lenny
into
is
New
calling
Haven,
about?
we're in pretty good shape there.
He's been on there
Traffic
for
and
an
weather
hour.
together on the 8s. WTIC News Talk 1080.
WTIC weather.
For the rest of our Wednesday afternoon, sunny to partly cloudy, breezy and pleasant with a high of 70. Tonight, mainly clear, a cooler night, bordering on chilly with the low down to 41. Now, a nice day for Thursday with a blend of sun and clouds, the high up to 70 again. Overcast Thursday night, the low 51. Now, Friday, a bit of an active day, cloudy and warm. We'll have showers and thunderstorms around, breezy in the afternoon, too. And some of those storms could produce localized damaging wind gusts, hail, and flooding downpours. The high of 78 on Friday. Now, Saturday, cloudy, a couple of more showers, but still quite mild with the high 77. Periods of rain and a thunderstorm Saturday night. Then Sunday, cloudy but dry. Not as warm, but still pleasant for us. Mild with a high of 66 on Sunday. I'm meteorologist Jason Caterina in the WTIC Weather Center.
Follow WTIC News Talk 1080. Don't miss out on important updates in Connecticut, from breaking need-to-know news, weather alerts, and more. Follow WTIC News Talk 1080 on the Odyssey app now. WTIC is celebrating 100 years on the air and 100 years of serving Connecticut. This is WTIC and WTIC FM HD2 Hartford, an Odyssey station.
It's 4 o'clock, Hartford temperature, 69 degrees. Good afternoon. I'm John Silva, WTIC 1080 News. In Middletown, city officials are seeking more information regarding the apparent arrest by ICE agents of an individual outside of court on Tuesday. In a statement from his office, Mayor Ben Florsheim says a person at the courthouse on Court Street for an appearance was apprehended by several individuals wearing clothing identifying themselves as FBI, another wearing a vest with police across the front, wearing a black facial bandana. Florsheim says police were not given a heads up about the action, but did confirm the arrest. The mayor says the city is looking for additional information, and it's been in touch with the offices of Senator Chris Murphy and Attorney General William Tong about next steps. President Trump says today's GDP report doesn't tell the whole story. Linda Kenyon has more from the White House.
The latest quarterly report shows the gross domestic product, or the GDP, fell 0.3%. President Trump says, in his words, that was Biden, not Trump.
We took over his mess in so many different ways.
When asked whether his trade tariffs were dragging down both the GDP and the stock market,
I don't view the stock market as the end all. It's an indicator.
Trump also said yes, the tariffs may cause some unease.
Maybe the children will have $2 instead of $30.
Adding, there really was no other choice.
We had to do it. We reset the table.
Linda Kenyon, CBS News, the White House.
One of the Columbia University students detained and threatened with deportation was ordered freed today by a federal judge in Vermont. Mohsen Modawi was arrested while going to a meeting about becoming a U.S. citizen in Vermont, where he lives. He's one of several students targeted for anti-Israel protests on campuses. CBS Justice Department reporter Jake Rosen.
This is the first case, though, I will point out, in which a federal district judge has allowed any of these detained students to go free. It is the first major case of that, in which the judge basically compared what happened to him with McCarthyism and the Red Scare, saying that there was a real harm in keeping him in detention as these proceedings play out.
Deputy Prime Minister of India is warning that any escalation by Pakistan in a deadly attack on Kashmir will be met with retaliation. Ishaq Dar made the warning today. Islamabad says it had intelligence that India was getting ready for military action.
Pakistan will not be the first one to resort to any escalating move. However, in case of any escalating move by the Indian side, we will respond very strongly.
Democratic state lawmakers back here and food banks are asking the state to step up funding for the nutrition assistance program in response to Trump administration cuts to food assistance. They marked Food Insecurity Day at the state capitol. The highlight of the event highlighted nonprofits like Filling in the Blanks, which provides weekend meals for children in Fairfield County in New York State. Co-president Shawnee Knight says the need is great.
Over the past 11 years, we have served a total of 4 million weekend meals. And in 2025 alone, we will deliver 1.5 million weekend meals. These numbers remind us how far we've come and how much more there is to do.
Feeding America says more than 1 in 6 children in Connecticut are food insecure. Wall Street, the Dow up 141 points, NASDAQ down 14, S&P up 8 points. For these stories and more, go to WTIC.com. I'm John Silva, WTIC 1080 News.
Here at ALO, we believe solutions to your main drain problems shouldn't cost a thing.
Yes,
That's
sir.
why we offer free mainline drain camera inspections and free estimates on sewer line repair or replacement. Contact the trusted professionals at ALO when you call, click, or text today and say, hello, ALO. Call for details. Licensed for safety. P102776888, D10401465, E1185643, S3308699, HIC 628926, SM3004646, HOD 635, HOD 223.
Life can be unpredictable at times, but you shouldn't have to suffer the consequences of someone else's negligence. If you've been in an accident or work-related injury and it's not your fault, you need a lawyer who knows how to get you the fair and just compensation. At Brown, Painderis & Scott, our team of personal injury lawyers have over 100 years of combined experience. At BPS Lawyers, you get a lawyer. You get a full-service law firm. Call us at 860-CALL-BPS or visit bpslawyers.com. Bruce Newman is responsible for the content of this ad.
It's Reese on the radio. And don't say we didn't warn you on News Talk 1080 WTIC.
All right, we are back. Again, like I opened the show talking about Senator Gary Winfield of New Haven. Anyone who doesn't understand where I'm coming from, I just, I don't get it. But, I understand that most people, want to be do-gooders. Of course, it's in us to do good, but it should never be at the expense of others. Right? It never should be done under the auspice of, I'm doing this because those people are bad. That ain't your job. You're not out here to dole out retribution for others. And I communicate with people like this all the time. And I look at them and I just go, who made you judge, jury, and executioner? You wake up one morning and say, I don't like these people, so I'm going to look out for the other guy. There's nothing genuine about that. That's bitterness. That's hatred. That's anger. There's nothing honest about that. You're not an honest broker. You're just mad. I would just say be mad. I've never been upset at anybody else for what they have. And out here caring about people who I never would be caught like breaking bread with. Never. Like, what's the sense? What's the use? And then speaking for them in this monolith, like you understand all of them. You don't. And I was having this conversation with ATS in there, and he's asked, it was like, How do you know who's going to destroy your community before they come in unless you are prejudging based upon the appearance or color? And I went, no, it's not my job to vet them. It is the job of the person who is placing them to vet them. If the federal government or the local government is going to grab that individual and put them in public housing next door to my home, the onus is on them to vet the individual to make sure that they are not going to cause harm to the rest of the community. And you would think the incentive to do that was if these people do create harm in the community, it's going to affect their chances come election time. Right? If they're running now, if they don't care, they're just going to put anybody there. But if they do, they're going to say, we got to make sure that these are the right people, because if my constituents aren't happy, I'm never going to get them to fundraise for me. I'm never going to get them to support me. I am doing this for them. Yes, we want to do good, but we got to be caring about those people first, because those people are the voters. I'm here to represent them. I mean, isn't that their job? Yeah. So it all doesn't happen in a vacuum. Nobody wakes up in the morning and an immigrant is living next to them. There's a process. And if they're not following a process, what's the point? Think, folks. Whatever. Like I said, don't agree. Just think. Just think. Let's get another check of the weather and traffic. Tom O'Hanlon's in for Mark Christopher in the BPS Traffic Center.
I'm Tom O'Hanlon from the BPS Lawyers Traffic Center. We're looking at 84, and it's slowing down on the westbound side, exit 56 to 46, and then 84 eastbound. Fairly busy from exit 44 to 51. Founders Bridge was still slowing down across the river, getting into Hartford, and delays on 91 southbound, exit 35A to 32. Northbound 91 were okay, except with a problem involving Wilbur Cross. There's the 3-vehicle crash northbound at Wilbur Cross between exit 67 and 68, and the right and center lanes are closed. Also on Wilbur Cross, the northbound exit 68 and into 91, the ramp is shut down for the crash. Route 2 is moving along with stop and go into 84, and we're pretty good on Route 3. Traffic and weather together on the 8s. WTIC News Talk 1080.
WTIC weather.
Well, another great day, mainly clear and cooler tonight. Going to be a bit chilly with the low down to 42. Nice day ahead for Thursday as well with a blend of sun and clouds, the high 72. Couple of showers Thursday night, then Friday, cloudy, very warm and active day for us with some showers and thunderstorms. Some of those could be strong to severe and produce some localized damaging wind gusts, hail, and flooding downpours Friday afternoon. The high 78, though. Partly cloudy and mild Friday night. Saturday, cloudy, couple of showers and a thunderstorm again. The high 77. Cloudy with a chance of a little rain on Sunday. Not as warm either, but still mild with the high of 66. Right now, 69 in Bristol, 66 in Waterbury, 70 in Danbury, and 69 in Hartford. I'm meteorologist Jason Caterina in the WTIC
No, Zach,
Weather
you're
Center.
not by yourself.
It's the Peter L. Brown Company's 65th anniversary. For a limited time, purchase high-performance double-pane windows from the Peter L. Brown Company and get an upgrade to super-efficient triple-pane glass at no additional charge. For a free estimate, please visit peterlbrown.com.
Is thinning hair or receding hairline making you self-conscious? Stop feeling embarrassed about your thinning hair and start looking and feeling your best with Hair Grow by New Nordic. Available online at Amazon, Walmart.com, and NewNordicUSA.com, or in stores at your local CVS.
Need dental implants? Columbia Dental's prosthodontic experts specialize in placing and restoring implants for a natural, confident smile. Open 7 days a week. Call 860-645-0111 or visit columbiadental.com.
Caring makes all the difference. Experience the care at the Bradley Home and Pavilion, where community and caring go hand in hand. As you arrive, a newly remodeled and updated facility awaits you with all of the amenities to provide a place of comfort, security, and peace of mind. The Bradley Home and Pavilion is the place to thrive and have fun. While the space has changed, a commitment to the best quality of life remains the same. The Bradley Home and Pavilion, where community and caring go hand in hand. Experience the care at thebradleyhome.org.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-575-6481. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce. the IRS. Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start. Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems. We have over 1,000 five-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau. You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call 800-575-6481. That's 800-575-6481. Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
Tune in to WTIC News Talk 1080 for Healthy Rounds, hosted by Dr. Anthony Alessi. Saturday mornings 11 till noon. Learn from the top experts in their fields about the latest medical findings and call in with your medical question. Healthy Rounds is dedicated to providing accurate and timely health information and is sponsored by Hartford Healthcare, Ratchford Eye Center, St. Francis Hospital, Covaris, and Yukon Health Orthopedics and Sports Medicine. Healthy Rounds, Saturday mornings 11 till noon on WTIC, News Talk 1080 and WTIC.com. President of the Chris Murphy Fan Club, Reese on the Radio on News Talk 1080, WTIC.
Yeah, we're going to get into the Chris Murphy today. He was on Anderson Cooper 120 yesterday, so I've got him. You can finally get to see his beard if you're watching online. Let's get to these phones and get them through real quick. Lenny is in Avon. How we doing, Lenny? You've been here for a while. What are you trying to come in the first thing?
Yeah, I tried to. Uh-oh, I lost some of my notes though. But no, it's all right. I just wanted to touch base on when it comes to church and state. They're supposed to be separate, right?
No.
As far as I know.
No.
No?
No, there's no such thing.
Oh, see. Okay, so when I was growing up, I went to Catholic. I went to Catholic school.
Okay.
And one of my CCD teachers, I remember her saying that church and state are supposed to be separate. So when it comes to school, pretty much religion, if it's public school, religion shouldn't be there. If you're going to a Catholic school, that's different, completely different. So touching base on what's happening in the school, I can't remember the exact school's name. Like I said, I lost I take notes. I try to be good.
Okay.
Oh, I found some notes. Never mind. Hold on. Okay. And so for when it comes to schools, for like the lawsuit that's happening, this is another one. So I'm gonna jump real quick.
Okay, so before you go all over the place, let me explain to you what this amendment reads. That's okay. I want to read it to you directly so that you never make that mistake again. And again, a lot of very novice individuals make this distinction that there is a separation of church and state. There is none. There's no such thing. Here's the exact reading. Congress shall make no law respecting an establishment of religion or prohibiting the free exercise thereof. So what does that mean? It means that no law can be nothing can be made into law based upon religious doctrine. But the government cannot forbid or prohibit someone's free expression of religion. So in essence, Congress, we shall make no laws based upon a particular religion. We can't make a Sharia law because then what would it do? It would cancel out somebody who might be Buddhist. Right. It would only benefit, Muslims, and therefore it would establish that Christians are not. So that's why we don't establish any laws based upon religion, and nor do we stop the free exercise of religion. Now, when you say prohibiting the free exercise or prohibiting the free exercise thereof, abridging the freedom of speech or the press, or the right of people to peacefully assemble and to petition the government for a redress of grievances. Now, this is the most important part. Imagine a public school telling a student that they could not face the east, get on their knees, and pray to Mecca. What would happen if that happened?
Oh, there would be, there'd be lawsuits galore.
Held to pay. That's correct. And that is him praying inside of a school. So the argument about separation of church and state, completely debunked with just one Muslim kid who is allowed to pray in school.
Thank you. Thank you for clarifying that.
Not a problem.
Because I've always thought, I honestly always thought that. But I'm also one of those people, I'm never 100% right. There's always that 10% chance I can be wrong. And that's what's wrong with a lot of people today, is that they don't even look at that 10% chance that they can possibly be wrong.
Totally. And listen, that's the reason why I love this conversation, because look, this was something, and I'll give myself a little bit of credit here without breaking my arm, patting myself on the back. This is
no, I give you a whole bunch of credit.
No, this is one of those things that I don't have to be arrogant about, because I know it's something that even I believed when I was younger, because I was told that that was the case. And then someone explained it to me and I went, oh, and then I read it and I went, yeah, that makes sense. Because again, and a perfect example is, I say to people to sort of wake them up, is that example of the Muslim young man. If he were to pray to Mecca every 5 days a week, no school in their right mind would tell him he couldn't.
No, and absolutely in the right mind, they should not, because that's the beauty of America, man, is that you can do what you believe in. Well, now it's being pressed, but you could do what you believed in, and you can live your life by what you believed in. Now everything's getting pressed. Yeah. And it's tough.
Well, it's nothing more than Lenny, here's what it is. What you're watching right now is pressing the limits of the Constitution, and beyond that, it's pressing the limits of what we consider morally ethical as individuals. Yeah. It's always like, look, if you look at some of the crazy things that we're seeing day by day, right? Like why, like people, I always bring up this Luigi Mangione thing, right? Why would somebody openly express support for a young man who murdered another person? That's because we have a society that is testing our moral limits.
Yes. Yep. And that's and you see it on the news all the time too. And on TikTok is that it's not only the moral limit, it's the respect limit too. Yes. Because you see, I'm sorry. I've only been pulled over 2 times in my life, thankfully. And every single time that I was pulled over, I said, yes, sir, no, sir, absolutely, sir. I cooperated completely, because you know what? He's just doing his job. Right. There's a reason why he pulled me over. And I'm not going to give him a hard time. I'm not going to be like, nope, I'm not going to crack my window down only 2 inches and talk to him through that. No, he's a person. But
you do have to understand, Lenny, the reason why you're seeing those videos of like these people who are getting stopped by police for violating the law in some way. No. The reason why they're doing it is because, the 1980s used to be called the me generation. I can literally call this generation the narcissist generation, because they believe that their own individual rights are the only ones that matter. I always say about conservatism, right? We believe that my rights end where yours begin. Unfortunately for this narcissistic generation, it's their rights alone that matter. No one else's do. That's the difference between the two.
Oh. Yep, and that's what makes our world complicated and tough. Unfortunately.
I always feel this way, that I try not to be myopic and believe that the generation or the world in which I'm living in is the worst of times ever. I kind of feel like everybody sort of thought that of their own generation in time. I was like, there's never been another time like it. Yeah. I try to be consistent in saying that this is only the worst time I've ever lived in, because it's the time that I lived in. I try to look at it that way.
But you know what? I just want people to start walking each step with, you never know what that person's going through in front of you. And you take that next step, you open that door for them. You be nice and kind. Kindness, and yes, they might say it, especially being a man and opening the door for a woman, it's chauvinistic, but no, it's not. It's being courteous and being kind.
There's nothing wrong. Listen, niceties go a long way.
Nothing off my day.
Exactly.
Thank
you, Lenny. I appreciate you. I got to jump into some other calls, man, but I appreciate you, man. Thank you.
Absolutely. You take care. Bye.
You got it. Let's go. I'm going to go to Fulton in a second, but let me go to Joanne in Old Saybrook. Joanne?
You take care. Bye. You got it.
Joanne, you got to turn on your radio. Okay, there she is. Joanne, can you hear me?
Hello.
Hi, Joanne. Turn down your radio for me, dear.
Sorry about that.
That's okay. It's all right.
Just in reference to your, hold on, I got to put you on speakerphone. I'm sorry.
That's okay. I'm assuming you wanted to jump in about what I said about the Muslim student in school.
No. About the statement that the last caller made about the separation of church and state.
Yes.
And he may not know that phrase came from a letter written by Thomas Jefferson.
Correct.
In response to a concern expressed by letter by the Baptist, I guess it was the pastor of the Baptist Church of Danbury, concerned that there would be taxation on the church.
Right.
From this new government of this group of 13 colonies coming together. And he assured them that no, there was a separation of church and state. This was a matter of taxation.
You know what? And that's a good point. Where do you think, let me ask you this, Joanne, because you seem to be incredibly versed on this. Where do you think the meld, if you will, from that letter turned into constitutional law? Because that's essentially what happened. A letter by Thomas Jefferson has now been considered constitutional, like a constitutional referendum on the church versus the state.
By common usage.
Yes.
But not in constitutional law.
Right.
It just like so many other things just get bandied about. I'm going to pull over here. I'm not comfortable.
That's okay.
Doing this. There we go. Okay. Okay, let me put this back on regular speaker. Okay, there we are. No, because it's in common usage, not in constitutional usage.
Right.
And you bring that to a court, and they'll laugh you out because it's not a constitutional principle. It's a slipshod.
But Joanne, you know what's crazy about that is that I watched people on the news, right? The people who are supposed to be versed in this conversation stand there emphatically and say, isn't there a separation between church and state? And I've heard people argue it and said, no, there isn't. And then watch hosts of the show who never get a producer in, because they do have a producer. That's why they wear the little earpiece. They never have a producer shouting at them and going, no, that's not a fact. Correct it. There's no one, not even the lawyers who are in the building. Nobody corrects the host when they're saying, yes, there's a constitutional separation of church and state. I'm going, who are these people?
But my undergraduate degree was a double major, and one of my majors was out of School of Journalism. And so we had to take all the basic journalism courses along with the other stuff that my major was in. But, that was back in the late 70s, and we were all expected that we were going to have researched what we were writing about. This was print journalism, not broadcast. But, we were all expected that we were going to have checked our backgrounds of what we were writing about.
Yes.
This was not just going to be something off the shoulder, let's just throw something out here because I think it. No, you needed to have resources and references.
Joanne, you are going back.
Yes, sir.
You are going back to my conversation, if not yesterday, the day before that, when I was talking about the difference between a reporter and a journalist. Because a reporter would do exactly as you described, not doing the background, not doing the research, just reporting, like a security guard at the mall. Observe and report. Do no background, no investigation, no fact checking.
Exactly.
It's such a weird thing. But thank you, Joanne. Thank you. I appreciate the call, and thank you for listening. I might add as well.
Golly, you guys are on all the time.
Thank you.
Whenever I'm in the car, you guys are on.
Thank you, Joanne. You have a wonderful day.
Okay.
Bye-bye.
You too now. Bye-bye.
Bye. Okay, we'll get to some more phone calls. They're in here, and I just want to grab as many as I can, and I love the new callers as well as our faithful listeners. We'll get to you in a second. When we come back, Chris Murphy, Chuck Schumer, and the stupidest thing I read today. It involves Michelle Obama and Tim Walz. That's coming up in a little bit, so stay tuned for that. But we've got Chris Murphy and Chuck Schumer. Now, folks, yesterday I said to you, and I hate to brag, I said to you that this 100-day polling data means nothing. It means nothing. Because yesterday, during the show, I played you the audio of Frank Lutz talking to Breonna Keller of CNN about the Democrats' new polling. 3 months ago, they were at 29%. They are now down to 27%. So while everybody is up in arms talking about Donald Trump's polling data, 100 days, which again means nothing. And when I say means nothing, there's no midterm coming up. There are no elections. Okay? The next November that matters is 18 months away. That's right, 6 months from now, it still doesn't matter. Do you understand that? So this hoopla about the polling data, I get people telling me, it's like, well, it tells you what the temperature of the America. Yeah, and that's going to change. The temperature changes every day. But now that the Democrats are being called to the carpet about their own polling data, you will not believe what Chris Murphy and Chuck Schumer had to say. It is laughable. So stay tuned for that. That's coming up next, along with your phone calls. Stupidest thing I read today is coming up soon, so stand by. It's Reese on the Radio. Let's get a check of weather and traffic. Jason Caterina has your weather. And in for Mark Christopher in the BPS Traffic Center is Tom O'Hanlon. Tom O'Hanlon.
I'm Tom O'Hanlon from the BPS Lawyers Traffic Center. 84 westbound still loaded up, exit 56 to 46. We're looking at Route 2, and we're creeping along a bit, feeding up into 84 westbound. 84 eastbound to West Hartford still slowing down, exit 44 to 51. And Founders Bridge getting over into Hartford. We're hitting the brakes as you're getting over near the Hartford side of it, but it's still moving. 91 northbound, we're looking at a problem there. That is in Meriden. The problem there is a crash on Wilbur Cross on the northbound side. It happened between exits 67 and 68N, so 91 is feeling it. Also, Wilbur Cross northbound, exit 68N to 91 north ramp is shut down because of the crash. Route 3 is moving, and if you're heading for New Haven, 91's okay down into New Haven. 95 southbound, it's stop and go heading by there. Traffic and weather together on the 8s. WTIC News Talk 1080.
WTIC weather.
For the rest of our Wednesday afternoon, sunny to partly cloudy, breezy and pleasant with a high of 70. Tonight, mainly clear, a cooler night, bordering on chilly with the low down to 41. Now, a nice day for Thursday with a blend of sun and clouds, the high up to 70 again. Overcast Thursday night, the low 51. Now, Friday, a bit of an active day, cloudy and warm. We'll have showers and thunderstorms around, breezy in the afternoon, too. And some of those storms could produce localized damaging wind gusts, hail, and flooding downpours. The high of 78 on Friday. Now, Saturday, cloudy, couple of more showers, but still quite mild with the high 77. Periods of rain and a thunderstorm Saturday night. Then Sunday, cloudy but dry. Not as warm, but still pleasant for us. Mild with a high of 66 on Sunday. I'm meteorologist Jason Caterina in the WTIC Weather Center.
There's a lot happening in Washington and in your local neighborhood. Follow WTIC News Talk 1080 on the Odyssey app to keep up with the latest. And now, a WTIC News Update.
69 degrees, sunny skies at 4:30. Good afternoon, I'm John Silva, WTIC 1080 News. Middletown Mayor Ben Florsheim is confirming there was an ICE arrest at the courthouse in the city on Tuesday. He says an individual was there for an appearance and was taken into custody by several agents. City officials are looking for more information. Arrests have been made in a school disturbance in Waterbury. Happened yesterday at Kennedy High. 3 juveniles and an adult facing breach of peace and other charges. Negative numbers on the economic growth list for the first 3 months of the year. GDP down 0.3%. Administration says tariffs will help Americans in the long run, though President Trump today said they could result in fewer and costlier products in the U.S., says that perhaps American kids will, quote, have $2 instead of $30, but he's also insisting that China will suffer more from his trade war in the long run. Town of Plymouth denies the appeal of the cease and desist order against the Wicked Fun Swingers Club, which shares a common driveway with Riverside Baptist Church. The club's owner is threatening legal action. And Pakistan says it has credible intelligence that India is planning to attack it within days over last week's deadly attack on Indian-controlled Kashmir. The Dow was up 141 points today. The Nasdaq gave back 14. S&P was up 8. The Red Sox continue their series in Toronto tonight on TIC, 6:07 the pregame. Yanks continue their series in Baltimore, the rubber game of a 3-game series there, and the Mets are at home to the Diamondbacks. Eastern League Chesapeake takes on the Yard Goats at Duncan Park, 7:10 first pitch. For these stories and more, go to WTIC.com. I'm John Silva, WTIC 1080 News.
If you have unfiled taxes or are in debt to the IRS, this is important news. The IRS just rolled out a new program to help struggling taxpayers more easily resolve their tax problems. It's called the Taxpayer Relief Initiative, and it opens up powerful new options for people looking to get back on the right track with the IRS. And no one knows this program like the professionals at Optima Tax Relief, America's most trusted tax resolution company. They've resolved over $1 billion in tax debt for their clients and have the expertise and experience to help you. One easy call to Optima can start the process, helping to put an end to your worries of wage garnishment, asset seizure, and other aggressive IRS actions. Make today the beginning of your fresh start with the IRS. Call the experts at Optima Tax Relief now for your free confidential consultation.
Call 800-354-2840. 800-354-2840. 800-354-2840.
Optima Tax Relief.
Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
The following heartwarming yet informative scene is brought to you by Trust and Will.
Son, your grandpa and I used to work on this car together, and when I'm gone, I want you to have it.
Wow. Thanks, Dad.
Doesn't count. What you need is a will. Luckily, Trust and Will makes it easy. Designed by attorneys, but customized by you, you can easily create a state-specific, legally valid document that actually counts. Now, let's let the engine do the talking, am I right? Start your will at trustandwill.com. Use offer code COUNT for 20% off and make it count. Trust and Will is an online estate planning service. For details, see trustandwill.com.
Will new tariffs impact small businesses? Rising costs and economic uncertainty can hurt your bottom line. But with Swish Funding, your business can stay strong. We offer fast, flexible funding solutions from $10,000 to $2 million for working capital, cash flow, and more. And as little as 24 hours with no collateral needed. If your business earns at least
And 10.
per month and has been around for over a year, you could qualify today. Go to swishradio.com and use code RADIO. Swishradio.com, code RADIO.
Stay locked in. Reese on the Radio is on WTIC News Talk 1080.
Let's do it.
Do I look that stupid? Yes, you do. Stupid as can be.
This could very well be the stupidest person on the face of the earth.
This one's an easy one. Clearly, this person is the stupidest person on the face of this earth. It is former vice presidential candidate Tim Walz.
Strong, clear Democratic message. I heard from you a lot when you weren't the vice presidential nominee. I don't know if you guys know, you could not run away from Tim Walz on TV, whether you wanted to or not, on cable. There was a time where I was flicking channels in the newsroom, and you were doing a lot of hits, right? And then you became the vice presidential nominee.
And you thought I disappeared?
Well, I don't think. Can I be frank? It wasn't just me. It was a lot of people, not just reporters, but people I've been talking to this entire semester saying, "Where the heck did Tim Walz go?" So my question for you, and there are a million ways for us to get into this conversation, is, was that your choice?
No, yes. I said the choice to be on this ticket, the privilege of being on it. When you sign up for this, I'm a team player. I'm with it. And there's folks that I recognize are smarter than me. They analyze this. You put your input in. Running a campaign that had never been run before, 100 days, in the situation we were at, running against a very unusual opponent on the other side.
That you were going to lose to.
Look, my job was to do it. Look, I knew I was on the ticket. I would argue because we did a lot of amazing progressive things in Minnesota that improved people's lives. But I also was on the ticket, quite honestly, because I could code talk to white guys watching football, fixing their truck, doing that.
Really? This guy actually said that he can talk to white folks. I could talk with the whites. Walk with the whites. Yeah, he was Dr. Doolittle, all right. I could walk with the whites, talk with the whites, understand the whites. Because Kamala cannot talk and walk with the whites. She had no idea how to communicate with them, and therefore Tim Walz was brought into the fold so he could communicate with the rare bird that is the whites. But what's got to be the one that's driving everybody crazy, folks, stand by for this because I know what I'm going to hear. The internet is going nuts about this little piece of audio coming from the former First Lady, Michelle Obama. Did she reveal something in this conversation with comedian Marlon Wayans?
I wanted to talk, Marlon, a bit about, just so proud of how you are being a role model for dealing with a child that's transgender.
Absolutely.
And that's, that warms my heart, particularly as a Black man. Would you care to share that journey of...
So Michelle Obama says that Marlon Wayans raising a child who is transgender warms her heart as a Black man. Context matters, Michelle Obama. You might want to think about that. I'm just saying. With all the now, this for me I only believe one thing comes of this. She's got to respond because the internet is going crazy right now over that. She's admitted it. She admitted it. She's a Black man.
So proud of how you are being a role model for dealing with a child that's transgender.
Absolutely.
And that's, that warms my heart, particularly as a Black man. Would you...
I'm just saying, I didn't do it. She did. We got to check the weather and traffic again with Jason Caterina with weather. Mark Christopher's out, so we have Tom O'Hanlon is doing the traffic in the BPS Traffic Center. Do I have his voice right? Tom O'Hanlon.
I'm Tom O'Hanlon from the BPS Lawyers Traffic Center. 84 westbound is busy from Route 2 over to the bridge, crossing the river into Hartford, and 84 eastbound, we're loaded up from Prospect Avenue up into Hartford. On Founders Bridge, getting over to the Hartford side, we're slowing down a bit. 91 southbound in Windsor still has some slowdowns, exit 35A to 32. 91 northbound, well, we're keeping an eye on that around Meriden and vicinity. Part of the problem there, Wilbur Cross, a crash on the northbound side, happened between exit 67 and 68, and it took out the right and center lanes. That means the ramp heading for 91 north is jammed up there, too, with that stopped. Now, Route 3 is moving, and if you're heading south to New Haven, 91's okay getting on down there. Traffic and weather together on the 8s. WTIC News Talk 1080.
WTIC weather.
Oh, been a beautiful day, mainly clear, cooler tonight, a bit chilly with the low down to 42. Nice day for us Thursday, blend of sun and clouds, the high 72. Couple of showers Thursday night, the low 53. Friday going to be active, though, some showers and thunderstorms. Some could be strong to severe, putting down some localized damaging wind gusts, hail, and flooding downpours, the high of 78. Partly cloudy, mild Friday night. Saturday, cloudy, couple of showers and a thunderstorm, the high of 77 Saturday. Sunday, still cloudy with a chance of a little rain, the high of 66. Currently, it is, I can't even see that. It's too small. 69, get better glasses. Mansfield at 69, 73 in New London, 73 New Haven, 66 in Waterbury, and 69 in Hartford. I'm meteorologist Jason Caterina in the WTIC Weather Center.
Join us this Sunday for Tumalo Financial, your go-to for retirement planning and taxes. Tune in to the father-son duo from 7 a.m. to 8 a.m. or catch replay from 5 to 6 p.m. Tumalo Financial, retirement planning with integrity on WTIC News Talk 1080.
At Ayala Home Services, we handle hundreds of water heater issues a year. We know how much of an inconvenience no hot water is, and with our fully stocked trucks and warehouse, you can get your hot water back as soon as the same day. Contact the trusted professionals at ALO Home Services when you call, click, or text today and say hello, ALO. Call for details. Licensed for safety. P102776688, E1040145, E11856643, S33086999, HIC628926, SM3004646, HOD635, HOD223.
Seems everything costs more these days. Groceries. And when's the last time you checked your wireless bill? When it comes to big wireless, if you're staying, you may be overpaying. Switch to Consumer Cellular to get the same fast nationwide coverage without the big wireless bill. Plans start at just $20 a month, and now for a limited time, new customers can get their second month free. Call 1-888-FREEDOM, visit a store near you, or consumercellular.com and start saving today. Plans include $5 credit for autopay and e-billing. Taxes, fees, and other third-party charges will apply. See website for additional details.
Life insurance. Why are you putting it off? Can't afford it? Too much hassle? Think you don't need it? There's lots of excuses for putting off life insurance. But if you weren't there, who would pay the mortgage and other bills? With Ethos, you could be covered in 10 minutes and boom, family protected. Ethos, fast and easy online term life insurance. Up to $2 million in coverage with no medical exam. Some policies as low as $1 a day. Answer a few health questions and get your free quote at ethos.com/radio. That's ethos.com/radio.
The self-proclaimed love child of Rush Limbaugh.
They're running a strange program, y'all.
Reese on the radio on News Talk 1080 WTIC.
All right, let me get to this real quick, because remember, all of this yesterday, if you were listening to any of the news, all they can inundate you with was the first 100 days polling. That was important to them. That's what they wanted to focus everybody on. And here's a little bit of that exchange from none other than Chris Murphy, which, by the way, I have some news about. I didn't know that you knew this. I don't know if you knew this. Maybe you speculated, but I am almost certain, with beyond a shadow of a doubt, this bozo's running for president. I don't know, but apparently he is. He's got, by the way, he is an absentee landlord at this point. He does not represent the state of Connecticut. He is on his own. He is anywhere, everywhere, trying to get name recognition across the country. That's what he's doing. The whole auspice is, I'm warning the world about Trump. That's why I'm flying across the country. Hey, you going to do any business here in Connecticut? No, I've got to warn the world. Okay, Chris. And he's even bearded up. I really blame J.D. Vance for that. But anyway, here's him talking to, what's his name? Gloria Vanderbilt's boy. Anderson Cooper. That's his name. Anderson asked him, aren't you guys just screaming the same nonsense that lost you the election?
Then in your view, American democracy itself is at stake. True or not, wasn't that the losing argument in the last election?
Well, I mean, we really don't have the ability to think about the electoral consequences of what's happening to the country right now. The fact of the matter is Donald Trump is trying to destroy our democracy so that he can turn the entire government over to his billionaire friends.
I wish somebody would ask him, can you, with any specificity, tell me how he's doing that, sir?
He's trying to create a kind of kleptocratic oligarchy where he and his Mar-a-Lago buddies steal from the rest of us.
Yeah, please, can you break that down exactly how that's going on? No, we have time. Yes. Can you explain that to me, please?
We have to tell that story. I mean, I understand that it's kind of a popular theme that Kamala Harris shouldn't have run on protecting democracy.
But I'm going to run on it anyway. No, Kamala Harris should not have run on protecting democracy, but I'm going to keep echoing that same failed message, because when I tell everybody with my bearded face, they'll believe it because it's true, because I have a beard now. Have you seen my beard? Yes, it's a little gray on the bottom, so it looks like I'm, weathered and smart, and I've been around. I look like a failed college professor, but see, the beard is working. See, you're already trapped by it. Look, you can't stop looking at it. See, it's the beard.
But, if you run on telling the American public that this guy, Donald Trump, is going to destroy the rule of law if he wins, and then you don't act like it, you don't tell the truth.
Feel the beard. See the beard? Are you looking at the beard? The beard tells the truth. Look at the beard.
He actually tries to convert American democracy to American autocracy, then you lose all of your credibility. So I don't sit here every day thinking about the political or electoral ramifications of telling the truth. We should just tell the truth, and the truth.
Yeah. Tell the truth. Anyway, so with that, Anderson Cooper asked, hey, I know you're paying a lot of attention to Donald Trump and his polling data. It's important that we pay attention to that. But can you tell us here, why is it that Democrats are polling lower than they were 3 months ago? They were at 29. Now they're at 27. With Donald Trump's numbers going down, your numbers are going down with all of the stuff that you're doing. Who could be the reason, or who could be responsible for Democrats' numbers going down as well in the first 100 days? This answer, although it shouldn't, will shock you.
Why do you think Democrats are not doing better in that same kind of polling? A new CNN poll showed the approval rating for Democratic leaders in Congress at 27%. How do you think that perception will just change? How does it change?
Come on, Chris. Whose fault is it that your poll numbers are going down? Do you think it's Democrats? Do you think it's you? Do you think it's Chuck Schumer? Do you think it's your policies? Do you think it's your overall party in general? Is it the fact that you lost? Is it Kamala Harris? Is it Joe Biden? Whose fault is it?
Yeah, listen, I think that, people have been shocked at how quickly Donald Trump has laid an assault on the Constitution and the rule of law. And I think a lot of people are taking out their anxiety and their anger at Donald Trump on the Democratic Party. And some of that is legitimate. I mean, I would say there have been moments where we have not stepped up and fought as hard as we should. I don't think this is politics as normal, so I think Democrats should be, willing to take day-to-day risks, and you started to see that from Cory Booker, from
You started to see those risks from Cory Booker, from everybody. All of these people have been taking all the risk, and their numbers are still going down. But whose fault is it? It's Donald Trump's.
My colleague Chris Van Hollen. That's the kind of leadership people are looking for, and I think as Democrats start to step up to this moment, to be more risk tolerant in the tactics they take, I think you'll see the American public, start to lighten a little bit in their opinion of Democrats. Right now, I think that they're deeply worried about the direction of the country, and they're taking out some of that frustration, sometimes with merit, on the opposition party.
That's right. The opposition party that is trying to stop Trump is blaming the Democrats for not stopping Trump, knowing damn well that they can't stop Trump. So they're getting poor polling data, probably because the tactics don't work, but no, of course not. Now, to break all of this down, what did yours truly tell you? Well, I told you that the reason why they are so hell-bent on this horrible polling for Donald Trump is because they think it's going to resonate. Again, resonate in the midterms, which are over a year and a half away. How do we know? Chris Murphy told us so.
Once the president's approval ratings get down to where they are today, high 30s, mid 30s, 40%, well, then his enablers, the people around him who, make his agenda work, they start to get second thoughts because they realize that tying themselves to Donald Trump is a prescription for them to lose their elections in the next midterms.
So now let's take what Chris Murphy just said there. Because of Donald Trump's low polling data, anybody who would enable him, they would be affected as well, and they would reject him, right? And then his agenda doesn't go through. Clearly, that's got to be the same case for Democrats and their polling data going down, right? Maybe that would explain why Gretchen Whitmer was on stage with Donald Trump yesterday. Perhaps she is getting out of the doldrums of the Democrat Party as well. Because if it's true for Donald Trump, right, these poll numbers are going to make everybody jump ship. So Democrats' poll numbers should do the same for Democrats, shouldn't they, Chris?
So if the president's approval ratings stay where they are or get lower because of mass public mobilization, he'll have a hard time, finding the support he needs to continue to enact this agenda.
Yeah, and I would call that shooting a little too quick. Again, 18 months. It's 18 months till polls open. Don't shoot your shot that early. But remember, they also told us that these polls are important. The poll numbers are important until they are not.
There's a poll out today that has your approval ratings lower than any other congressional leader at 17%. Are you concerned that you may be a liability for your party?
Polls come and go. Our party is united. We're on our front foot.
Yeah, polls come and go. If you didn't hear that, here he is again, Chucky Schumer, talking about his polls to Kristen Collins over at CNN. Again, his poll numbers, Chuck Schumer, 17%.
And there is a contrast, obviously. And yes, the president's numbers are underwater, as we just raised with his Republican ally here. But they're not exactly turning to Democrats. I mean, specifically for you, sir, in the first 100 days, you went from a 46% favorable rating to 31%. Why do you think that happened in those 100 days? What do you attribute that to?
Look, the polls come and go, okay? I've been through all the years and I've seen them.
You're right, Chuck. They do come and go. Everybody up to speed now? Everybody up to speed? All of that blathering on about what the poll numbers mean? The exhaustive coverage of the polling numbers yesterday? You ask these bozos about their own fledgling polling number, all of a sudden, it's nothing. It's nothing. There's nothing to see here. But what about Donald Trump's numbers? Well, that's big. That's horrible. Did you see those numbers? They're horrible. Your numbers are lower than his. But yeah, that happens. That just happens. There's no big deal here. You're making a big deal of nothing. Let's go to Fulton in Waterbury. How are you, Fulton?
I think you being the president of Chris Murphy's fan club, you should get your running mate, Big Mike.
That's right.
Big Mike, The Obama team back in effect, but strong black man.
Exactly. I think I need a strong black candidate.
Right? Strong black candidate. There you go. But what about the Wicked Club? Like, where are we at on that? Like, for people doing stuff in their own property, at 9 o'clock at night, 9 to 2, the church has a beef with it, and the city closes them down. What do you think about that at Terryville?
I'm sorry. What was that? Who you said? What about the people doing work at 9 o'clock at night?
No. The Wicked Club. I'm sorry. I'm not speaking about the Wicked Club in Terryville. The one that just came out with they gave them a cease and desist. The sex club. There's a private club.
Oh! You know what? It's funny. Brian Shackman and I were talking about that today. They were supposed to be a guest on his show, but they canceled. Oh, yeah. I don't have a lot on that. I'm still waiting for more on that because I understand they're going to be on the show, so I don't want to kick that in the teeth yet. But I gotta let you go because it's a lot of wind behind you. I apologize. Let's go to I'll go to Ralph in South Carolina. He's been on for a bit. What's going on, buddy?
Reese, what a wonderful guide trade. Do you realize that the governor of Minnesota, I believe it is Walsh, is that his name?
Yeah, Tim Walz. What happened? Oh, okay. I guess he got cut off. All right, let's go to Corey in Meriden. How are we doing, Corey?
Hey, brother. How you been?
Pretty good, sir. What's up?
Hey, what's going on in Hartford today with all these votes on the acts and stuff? They trying to come after homeschoolers now?
Yeah, well, that was initiated in Chicago. And, unfortunately, the governor of this state can't come up with an original idea on his own. So, yeah, now there's this proposal to go after homeschooling. And you know what this is about. This is nothing more than the realization that they are losing children by the droves in the public school system. Especially they know that the school system's got fledgling numbers as far as proficiency in reading and math. So, parents have had enough and have decided that they're going to pull kids from the school. So this is nothing more than a last-ditch effort to hold on to those kids so they don't lose them because they're not going to improve their numbers. And remember, if you don't have enough kids who are in the public school system, that means public school funding goes elsewhere. They don't have an education budget.
Well, this gets crazy because I hope Sampson and all these guys are actually starting to really, really, really take this seriously.
Yeah.
So under that exemption thing, when they got rid of the religious and the medical,
yes.
So I think they estimated there's 16,000 families that were affected by that.
Yeah.
I was one of them. So if you're living on a median $70,000 paycheck, just so you know, the state is saying my special needs child and one of my other kids cannot go to school.
Right.
I'm paying $15,000 out of pocket every year because my tax dollars will not allow them to send it to school. So if you multiply that out, 2 of my kids have exemptions that are grandfathered. 2 I have to pay out of pocket. Wife just said, sell the house. So we're putting this thing on the market, and now they're going to lose another 2 kids that were grandfathered. And I'm being very forefront with you because the next thing is we found a loophole.
Okay.
Military members that are stationed in Connecticut that have had exemptions due to duty station location.
Yeah.
We're going to the Department of Justice now to sue the state of Connecticut.
That's right.
Because now they can't send their kids to daycare and they can't send their kids to school. I'm one of them. You're taking $15,000 out of my paycheck each year because of one stupid law. No, this is discriminatory, and I have a special needs child. So we're going to play ball with Mr. William Tong here. And I was going to wait to tell you, but stay tuned to that, brother.
Yeah, keep me posted.
I hope the Senate Republicans are listening.
Yeah, trust me, they are. That much I can guarantee you. But keep us informed. And by the way, Mark P says he served with you. He said he loves hearing you, man.
I love you guys, and you guys are the best. And born and raised, brother. Long live Connecticut.
You got it, sir. You got it. We're going to take a break, and we'll come back. More news, more views. I got a secret squirrel that I have to actually address here. His name is Bob. Poor Bob. He's a big giant Republican hater. And again, let me say this before we go to break. I wish I really cared about Democrats and their hatred of Republicans or conservatives, or their hatred for black conservatives, or me for that matter. I wish I cared. But I need to make this clear. if there's anything that I love to do is to slap around a black lib. And I mean that figuratively. Intellectually, they are absolutely vapid. Because their arguments, I mean, literally, they're Lego blocks. They're all the same. There's nothing abstract about them. There's nothing beyond the pale. They don't think outside the box. They do exactly as their white slave owners tell them to think. That's what they do. Their white liberal slave owners tell them how to think, and then they think it. They're college professors. Yes. They are agents of white, progressive, racist, bigoted Democrats who are no different than Andrew Jackson. And they love to come on here and have a conversation with an intellectual who they think that because of my skin color, I walk in here brand new with some newfound knowledge and try to spar with me while they keep repeating the same nonsense over and over again. You're a broken record. You're a broken record. You are textbook. I can see that a mile away. If somebody were to throw a jump rope in the middle of that, you trip right over it. Okay? It's really easy. Not impressed. Not impressed. Let's get another check of the weather and traffic with Jason Caterina and Tom O'Hanlon. I'm trying to get his voice right because my wife loves his voice. So now I've got to poke him. Tom O'Hanlon's in the BPS Traffic Center. We'll be back.
I'm Tom O'Hanlon from the BPS
I think I got
Traffic
it.
Center. This traffic report is brought to you by Columbia Implant Center in Manchester. 84 westbound, we're still busy as you're approaching Route 2, feeding over into the bridge, crossing over into Hartford. You've got brake lights. And then on the eastbound side of 84, we're still rolling along pretty slowly, pretty much from around Prospect Avenue on up. Now, we're also looking at the 91 southbound trip through Windsor. It's stop and go there, but not too bad. 291's okay either way. Wilbur Cross and Meriden on the northbound side, exit 67 to 68, and a crash took out the right and center lanes, and it also affects the ramp trying to get to 91 north, which they had to shut down while they cleaned that up. On Route 3, we're moving. Traffic got you down? Turn that frown upside down at Columbia Implant Center in Manchester. They offer fast, efficient dental implant procedures completed in a single visit. Open 7 days a week for your convenience. Don't wait. Visit ColumbiaImplantCenter.com. Traffic and weather together on the 8th. WTIC News Talk 1080.
WTIC weather.
For the rest of our Wednesday afternoon, sunny to partly cloudy, breezy and pleasant with a high of 70. Tonight, mainly clear, a cooler night, bordering on chilly with the low down to 41. Now, a nice day for Thursday with a blend of sun and clouds, the high up to 70 again. Overcast Thursday night, the low 51. Now, Friday, a bit of an active day, cloudy and warm. We'll have showers and thunderstorms around, breezy in the afternoon, too. And some of those storms could produce localized damaging wind gusts, hail, and flooding downpours. The high of 78 on Friday. Now, Saturday, cloudy, a couple of more showers, but still quite mild with the high 77. Periods of rain and a thunderstorm Saturday night. Then Sunday, cloudy but dry. Not as warm, but still pleasant for us. Mild with a high of 66 on Sunday. I'm meteorologist Jason Caterina in the WTIC Weather Center.
WTIC is celebrating 100 years on the air and 100 years of serving Connecticut. This is WTIC and WTIC FM HD2 Hartford, an Odyssey station.
It's 5 o'clock, Hartford temperature 69 degrees. Good afternoon, I'm John Silva, WTIC 1080 News. In Middletown, city officials are looking for more information, they say, regarding an arrest by ICE agents at the courthouse on Tuesday. According to city employees and a statement from the mayor's office, a black SUV pulled up and several people got out. Some were clad in FBI garb, another with a police vest. The person taken into custody was reportedly there for a court date. Middletown police were not notified of the apparent ICE detail, but did confirm it. And Mayor Ben Florsheim says he is seeking some additional information. The economy shrank in the first quarter for the first time in 3 years, and the White House was quick to shift the blame today. Linda Kenyon is at the White House.
The numbers show the gross domestic product was down 0.3%. Analysts point to President Trump's tariffs as a drag on the economy, but the president doesn't think so.
That's Biden. That's not Trump, because we came in on January. This is quarterly numbers.
Speaking in the cabinet room of the White House, the president said the numbers are actually better.
We had numbers that, despite what we were handed, we turned them around, and we were getting them really turned around.
And if the next quarter's GDP is down?
You could even say the next quarter is sort of fine, because it doesn't just happen on a daily or an hourly basis.
Linda Kenyon, CBS News, the White House.
State House has passed a bill aimed at assisting veterans and their families. House Bill 6442 is also dubbed the Connecticut HERO Act. State Representative Jamie Foster is co-chair of the legislature's Veteran and Military Affairs Committee.
It includes a bill to designate November as Veterans Month. Includes a slew of commemorative plates for a variety of different groups who feel under-recognized, including women's veterans, who to this date haven't had a specific designation. We also will recognize Women's Veterans Day this year. That already passed out of the Senate.
Bill now heads to the state Senate for its consideration. If it passes the upper chamber, it'll be sent to Governor Lamont for his signature. Feeding America says more than 1 in 6 children in Connecticut are food insecure. They represent many of the more than 465,000 state residents who struggle with hunger. At a Food Insecurity Day event at the state capitol, Democratic state lawmakers and food banks talked about the importance of state support now that the Trump administration is cutting back on food assistance. Michael Savinelli is the executive director of the Wheat Pantry in West Haven.
We are now facing the possibility of serving many more people with much less food. And I'm just going to say it outright. I'm scared. And I want to ram home the importance of this CT-NAP funding.
CT-NAP is the Nutritional Assistance Program, which supports food banks statewide. Better Business Bureau anticipates scams concerning real IDs with the deadline coming in a week. Connecticut's BBB spokeswoman Kristen Johnson says bad actors usually come out this time to collect personal information and money.
So far, BBB Scam Tracker has not received any of these reports, but we want to stay ahead of it, because what often happens when there's a rush to do something, people want to avoid the line and they'll try to find a quick way out. And so that's when the scammers will take advantage.
And starting May 8th, everyone over the age of 18 will need a real ID to board a domestic flight, access federal facilities, and enter certain secure locations. And tensions between the U.S. and its neighbor to the north may be having an impact on tourism. Reporter Mike DeWald does that.
Whether it's tariffs, politics, or immigration concerns, Canadian travelers seem to have some degree of apprehension in traveling to the U.S. Silas is headed home from San Francisco. He says many Canadians are opting to vacation elsewhere.
If I had a choice, I would not be here right now, but we had like a wedding we had to come to, so.
New data from Visit California showing that to start the year, tourism to the Golden State from Canada is off by 15%. It comes as Governor Newsom mounts a campaign to woo Canadians back. Mike DeWald for CBS News, San Francisco.
Dow up 141 points on Wall Street today. NASDAQ down 14. S&P gained 8 points. For these stories and more, go to WTIC.com. I'm John Silva, WTIC 1080 News.
Hi, Tom Shattuck here. Nope. Political predictions. Today, instead, I'm making a
Yes,
bolder prediction. An opportunity, one might say. How about setting a goal to lose 40 pounds by the 4th with Awaken 180? Has a different ring to it when you have a finish line, right? 40 by the 4th. Imagine this. Your scale shows 240 today. How about watching that dip to a cool 200 by Independence Day? Or maybe it's reading over 300 like my scale did. How would it feel seeing 260 by the 4th and on your way to losing 80 pounds? Again, like I did with Awaken 180. Looking back, it took me only 5 weeks to drop my first 40. Of course, that's not the norm, but we'll just say I'm an overachiever. Regardless, if you set your goal and follow the program, you'll crush your goal by the 4th. Then ring Independence Day in. Shirt off, confident, martini and burger in hand. Celebrate reaching your goal, knowing you'll keep the weight off thanks to free support for life. 40 by the 4th. Set your goal and attain it with your long-term solution for weight loss. Online at awaken180.com. That's awaken180weightloss.com.
The hour that packs a punch. It's Reese on the Radio on WTIC News Talk 1080.
Please note, folks, today is the last day.
A la peanut butter and jelly sandwiches.
That's right. It's the Reese's Peanut Butter and Jelly Sandwich Sale at Between Rounds, your bagel, bakery, and sandwich cafe. This is the last day today. Every purchase gives $1 to the Friendly Hands Food Bank, and it's been absolutely joyous to be a part of it. I hope that it did well enough that we can do this again in the future. If it fails, I'll do it again, which it'll break my heart, but it doesn't mean that I won't be doing other charities in and around Connecticut. I also want to say this now that I have the time. Let me say in the next hour, we're going to talk a little bit about Ned Lamont. He gave a press conference yesterday talking about the first 100 days of the Trump administration. I want to address that as well. That was in the Hartford Current, so stick around for that, and, of course, your phone calls. But let me say this, because I want to make sure that I do. So if things go as planned, and, I have this old saying that I tell my family, if you want to make God laugh, make plans. But let's just say I am hopeful. So let's all be hopeful, and I need your prayers. If you're out there. Lori, I know you hear me. Lori M., I know you hear me too. For those of you who, believe in God, have faith in God, pray for old Reese on the Radio. So my mission is to get into town by late August, early September. And if indeed that happens, the first thing I'm going to do is hit the ground running, talking to all of my cohorts, from Craig to Mark in West Hartford to Simsbury Joe, anybody who will help me. And the first thing we are going to do is we're going to start establishing charities that we are going to do as often as we can and try to get them to be a yearly thing, because that's where my heart has always been, as a person, formerly homeless kid. I always believe that giving has always been at the forefront of Reese on the Radio, and so I'd like to do that. So, like I said, God willing, I want to be there as early as late August and September, or early September, and hit the ground running and start doing charitable things and events with the station and with you. So just keep your finger crossed. Pray to your maker. Let's get that done. Let's get another check of the weather and traffic with Jason Caterina with weather, and Tom O'Hanlon, who's in for Mark Christopher in the BPS Traffic Center. My wife says I got his voice down.
I'm Tom O'Hanlon from the BPS Lawyers Traffic Center. 84 westbound, we are busy from Route 2 over 2 and across the bridge into Hartford. 84 eastbound, slow from Prospect Avenue up to Hartford. And also looking at 91 southbound Windsor, we have stop and go there as you're trying to get down to 84. On 291, we're good. Now, we are doing better in Wilbur Cross. They cleared a crash on the northbound side between exits 67 and 68N. So that opens things up there a lot more now for 91 northbound. And looks like Route 3 is moving. Traffic and weather together on the 8s. WTIC News Talk 1080.
WTIC weather.
All right, it's been a great day as we head through tonight. Mainly cloudy, or clear rather, and cooler. It's going to drop down to 42 tonight. A nice day for us again on Thursday. A blend of sun and clouds, the high of 72. Couple of showers Thursday night, the low only down to 53. Then Friday, an active day for us. Cloudy, very warm. Some showers and thunderstorms. Some of those could be strong to severe and produce some localized damaging wind gusts, hail, and flooding downpours, the high of 78. Cloudy, a couple of showers and a thunderstorm again Saturday. Still warm, the high of 77. Saturday night, periods of rain and a thunderstorm leading into Sunday. Cloudy, a chance of a little rain, not as warm, the high 66 to round out the weekend. Right now, it is 72 in Meriden, 70 in Mansfield, 73 in New London, and Bridgeport also 73, 68 in Hartford. I'm meteorologist Jason Caterina in the WTIC Weather Center.
You just realized your business needed to hire someone yesterday. How do you find amazing candidates fast? Easy. Just use Indeed. Start at Indeed.com/credit.
Patrick was way behind on his IRS taxes.
I was in way over my head. The total amount ended up being somewhere just over $30,000. $30,000.
Then the IRS came to collect.
Started getting letter after letter. A lien had been filed against me. They were going to basically hang me completely out to dry.
He had to do something.
That's when I reached out to Optima Tax Relief.
Patrick's life quickly got a lot easier.
It was very easy, pretty much hands off. They picked up the ball and ran with it.
And how'd it go?
I couldn't believe it. I had to ask 2 or 3 times. I saved an incredible amount of money.
How does Patrick feel about Optima?
Couldn't be happier. They definitely helped me. Optima Tax Relief, the best place to call. They're the best in the business.
Do what Patrick did and call Optima Tax Relief for a free consultation. Call 800-354-2840. 800-354-2840. 800-354-2840.
Optima Tax Relief.
Testimonial from an actual client. Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
Seems everything costs more.
Hold on a minute.
Ask,
You got
groceries, and when's the last time you checked your wireless bill? When it comes to big wireless, if you're staying, you may be overpaying. Switch to Consumer Cellular to get the same fast nationwide coverage without the big wireless bill. Plans start at just $20 a month, and now for a limited time, new customers can get their second month free. Call 1-888-FREEDOM, visit a store near you, or consumercellular.com and start saving today. Plans include $5 credit for autopay and e-billing. Taxes, fees, and other third-party charges will apply. See website for additional details.
Are you a small business owner who needs immediate cash flow? At Swish Funding, we have flexible funding options from $25,000 to $2 million. For the best rates and terms for your business, just one application to Swish Funding gives you access to our entire network of funders, with cash in your account in as little as 24 hours. To qualify, you must be 1 year with monthly revenue of $50,000. Apply at swishradio.com and use code RADIO. Swishradio.com, code RADIO.
Reese on the Radio is getting ready to drop some knowledge.
A la peanut butter and jelly sandwiches.
Yeah, of course I did that. It's back. We're Reese on the Radio, News Talk 1080 WTIC. I'm going to talk about this thing with Governor Lamont in a little bit, and I'm going to take your phone calls in a second, but I wanted to play this. Yesterday on the show, I think it was Don in the chat room had mentioned that in a celebratory way that Mark Carney had won the election in Canada and beating Pelletier. And people were celebrating that in Canada. They were on social media going, aha, Donald Trump, the liberal won. Aha. And it was like, wait a minute. Didn't Donald Trump support Mark Carney? I'm almost positive he did. And I looked, and sure enough, he did. He actually did support Mark Carney. And so when Don in the chat room said, see, the liberal won. Canadians got united, and they beat the Republican. They beat the conservative, and Mark Carney's the prime minister of Canada. And I went, yeah, which means that Donald Trump is going to roll over him. And I made that clear to everybody. He's going to roll all over him. I'm not the only person who feels that way. So does Canada.
Donald Trump does more press media interviews than any president in the history of the United States. Pierre Poilievre is not talking to media. He's at his best in those clips where he rips apart dumb journalists. I don't know what's going to come in Canada, but I actually think Donald Trump now, what started off as a lark, I think he just thought Trudeau was weak and Trudeau was taking shots at him after he won the election. And so he said, hey, you're just the governor of a small state. We can do whatever. And then when he saw the overreaction, Trump just doesn't back down from a fight. And I believe that he thinks that having the liberal Mark Carney win will lead to a quicker destruction of Canada so that it's easier to pick up the pieces. That's why I think he's endorsing Mark Carney, because nothing about Canada right now is merit-based. Nothing about Canada is about doing hard things. Our military is an absolute joke. Our criminal defense system, even though I work in it, isn't dealing with crime. Our cities are completely falling apart. We're spending more money. We probably are wasting proportionately more money than the US. We're all paying 50% or more when you add up all of the taxes. Like, why would any entrepreneur come here? Trump is actually instituting policies, if people pay attention, that will make the US 10 times stronger. He's making people proud to be part of something that's specific. It's not saying just come over here and on my country. Just like there's been a festival of just on the best countries in the world by people who haven't made anything great in their own country.
So when you hear these people talk about it's like, I would have joke to the rest of the world. No, that's not true. Stop believing that nonsense. It's not the case at all. People know. People know. Donald Trump wanted the liberal to win because it'll be easy pickings. That guy's going to destroy the country. First thing the guy's implementing is more carbon taxes on flying. That place is going straight to hell. It'll be hilarious to watch. 860-522-WTIC. Steve is in Windsor Locks. How are you, Steve? No? Okay, that's all right. We'll just move on. Bob is in Middletown. How are you, Bob? Bob?
Hey, Reese.
Hey, what's up, sir?
I probably should have waited till Friday, but I can't wait. It's the liberal-ass news department from WTIC. It's got my blood boiling today, brother.
What? I missed the top of the hour. Don't disparage. Don't disparage them. What happened? What happened?
They'll release the story about the Middletown court incident with the ice, but they won't mention a word about the mayor who tried to take his life twice, who's married to a man.
Oh, I didn't even hear. Oh, you know what? I have to listen to the top of the hour now.
No?
I was literally doing something else. I must have missed that. Forward, you know what, Bob? Forward that to me so we can get to the bottom of that. I totally forgot about that story. But let me move on. You're right. You absolutely. I didn't even hear that part.
Yeah, and 2 weeks ago, when the market started to tank, that was the first thing they hit on the news, on TIC. Wham, market's down again. As soon as it started going up, it was the last thing on the news.
It's, again, I don't understand why everybody understands this. Hear what I'm saying. There's a reason why you got to, well, you know what? I'm not even going to say anything. I get where you're coming from, buddy. I appreciate you, sir. I got you. Let's go to Mike in Plainville. How we doing, Mike?
I just sometimes think that the Odyssey Network.
What's wrong with now? This isn't a complaint about Odyssey now. What's the problem now?
You're a news director. I'm not blaming the reporters because I know I've talked to one of them. I like your reporters, on-air news reporters, but your news director, every day we have to get a progress report on adorable little darling Chris Murphy and Dick Blumenthal. What they're doing. Okay, does anybody really care? I mean, come on.
I don't think so, because again, look, with all of the efforts made to promote him everywhere. I mean, I go on, there's this one site called the Connecticut Capitol Report where they have every article on Chris Murphy. If it's written about him, it's there. And I see these articles and I almost feel like they're posting them for me. But they put these articles up there and I read them and they're all vapid. They're empty fluff pieces about the guy. And it's just, it's incredible to read.
You know what you could do? You could start your own Reese on the Radio gong show. You could go back to the gong show in the 70s. I tell you, with the lineup you had today, you had Tim Waltz, you had Kamala Harris. Who else? Chris Murphy.
Yeah, I know.
Michelle Obama. Who else?
I know. It's, again, it is a round robin of stupidity, Mike. I know.
These people, they can't stay away from the media. They can't shut the hell up.
Because, listen, it's dying. Listen, when you know the media is dying, that means that you have to strike while the iron is hot. Think about this. This is like a sinking ship and everybody wants to turn at the steering wheel. That's all it is. That's all it is. They go, you know what? If the ship is sinking, can I drive? And it's not like anybody's driving it to anywhere better. They just want a hand at steering the ship for a little while before it all goes underwater. Yeah. That's why everybody's getting media coverage. Yeah, they're taking turns, sinking the ship even sooner. So thank you, Mike. I appreciate you. Let me get to this Governor Lamont thing. I want to read this part first. I'm going to go to the research first before I get to the Hartford Current article because that was in the top fold today. So I went to go look this up. And here's what it says. Now, listen, this is important. Remember, what I'm reading is about Ned Lamont and what he has said in the past, in 2023 and in 2022. So we're going backwards. Governor Ned Lamont expressed positive views about the economy under President Joe Biden on multiple occasions, often highlighting specific achievements. In a May 2023 statement, Lamont praised Biden's leadership, stating under Biden and Harris, their leadership, the country has emerged from a pandemic that shut down the world economy with serious investments in infrastructure and job creation that have our economy back on track. Ned Lamont said this. Additionally, in March of 2024, following the Biden State of the Union address, Lamont remarked, Americans should be proud of the remarkable progress we've made together in rebuilding America after a pandemic and after so many years of neglect and dysfunction. From Washington, today our economy is booming, Lamont lamented. Kids are back in schools and learning together. We are finally rebuilding our roads and bridges, investing in our workers, and reinvigorating manufacturing in this great country. These sentiments clearly indicate Lamont's view that the economy performed well under Biden, particularly in the context of post-pandemic recovery and infrastructure investments. Again, this on inflation. Governor Ned Lamont addressed inflation under the Biden administration, particularly in the context of federal legislation aimed at mitigating its effects. In a statement on April 16th, 2022, following the signing of the Inflation Reduction Act of 2022 by President Biden, Lamont said, quote, "Over the last year, Connecticut has taken bold and immediate actions to help families feeling the squeeze of inflation. Starting today, thanks to the Inflation Reduction Act, even more relief is on the way to Connecticut households." End quote. He highlighted specific benefits, such as lower prescription drugs for seniors on Medicare and saving approximately $220 per month on health insurance premiums for families using Access Health Connecticut. Additionally, he noted that investments in clean energy from the act would reduce utility cost and improve air quality, framing these as measures to alleviate inflationary pressures on Connecticut residents. This is what Ned Lamont said. These are actual quotes for him, dates included. I bring you to today. Headline: Connecticut Dems rip President Trump's first 100 days. Republicans rip Dems in return. Governor Ned Lamont and top Connecticut Democrats rip President Trump's first 100 days Tuesday as an utter disaster. But state Republicans simultaneously ripped the Democrats, saying they needed to be more focused on problems in Hartford than in Washington, D.C. Lamont and all constitutional officers, including the state treasurer and attorney general, gathered outside the state capitol in Hartford to denounce Trump regarding immigration, democracy, tariffs, and other volatility on Wall Street. He inherited an economy that was good for everybody, Lamont told reporters. Reducing inflation, growing opportunity for people. This 100 days has been just the opposite. People are scared. People are holding back. We're going the wrong way, sorry. We're driving the economy into a ditch, Lamont said. What? Again, what's going on? What's going on? Again, the Biden administration, the Trump's first 100 days. Listen to these folks. This is the reason why they will go nowhere and do an interview. They will go nowhere. You see, I would take this and shove this right into his face and go, read it. Read it. Tell the American people, tell nutmeggers that you were wrong. Tell them. But he won't. He won't. Let's go to a couple of calls before we get out of here. Mark's in West Hartford. How we doing, big guy?
Hey, let's make it real quick. So, first of all, Ned Lamont, just to remind everybody or people who didn't know this guy lied to us in his campaign ad from his very first time around when he said he was going to drive this old car. Oh, this old car is just fine for me.
That's
car.
Right. I remember that ad.
So this is a guy. This is a guy who's lied to us before being elected. Why would we believe anything he said? He lost all credibility. But listen, it's not just WTIC news. It's all of local media. They're giving a lot of attention to ICE going into Middletown. And I don't know if anybody brought it up. I missed a little of your show. Listen, people, in case you don't know, ICE does not have to notify. It's a federal agency.
Exactly.
They are not obligated as a courtesy, never mind obligated legally to tell them what they're doing.
Yeah.
They can come in there. But why is the media presenting this and giving sound bites like TIC is doing samba or tell us about, what's his name, Mayor Florsheim or whatever.
Yeah.
Why allow, I don't understand a journalist. Like, I would go back to this going like, well, Mayor, they're allowed to do this legally. They're not obligated to tell you about it.
Yeah, and
So what is your
listen, let me tell you this. And again,
Who's gonna say it?
this is the important part. You're 100% right. And again, this is, and I hate to use the word corruption, but it is. I'm just sorry that it is. We are living in an apparatus, and your first point was spot on, and I think that's the whole deal. I think that's the crux of all of this, is that we are living in a reporter-stenographer state, okay? It is, they tell us what the news is, and the news reports on what they tell us the news is. It's not about getting to the nook and cranny. Unfortunately, not everybody, like Mark Fitch and Chris Powell, these guys are outliers, as opposed to the people at the Hartford Courant or FSB or anybody else. Those folks are there to just report what they're told. They get them, they get the press packet, if you will, and it is to read the press packet. And then occasionally you get, what's our guy from NBC, Connecticut, who does the investigative journalism? Why am I forgetting his name right now?
Oh, Len Bestoff.
Len Bestoff,
He's
right.
The guy. He's covered 4 of my breaking stories.
Exactly. So Len Bestoff, like, think about it. You have one Len Bestoff who's probably doing 9 to 10 stories a month, right? 9 to 10 stories a month. That is where the investigative journalism plays a role. There is no no back and forth between, the reporter or the journalist and the subject. It is constant stenographer and report.
But Reese, what a disservice to the consumer, whether it be a TIC listener or somebody watching FSB or listening to another station.
But that's what I would say.
That's stupid.
That's
We're
where
surrounded by stupid people.
But we gotta. But that's the
majority
reason.
of people in Connecticut think that ICE shouldn't have been in Middletown or allowed to do what they
Exactly. But that's the reason why, Mark, unfortunately, sadly enough, look, the more that they hemorrhage viewers and listeners, that's where you and I have to strike where the iron is hot. I think the reason why your popularity is been booming is because of exactly that. They can't depend on these guys to tell them the truth. They got to go to you and I. And that's the reason why, again, your stuff is growing. I
have no time.
I got a hard break, but I'm going to put you on hold. I'm going to put you on hold. Let me get back to the traffic and weather with Jason Caterina and Tom O'Hanlon, who's in with Mark Christopher in the BPS Traffic Center.
I'm Tom O'Hanlon from the BPS Lawyers Traffic Center. Checking out 84 going westbound, still looking for a break. It is pretty heavy going from Route 2 over to and across the bridge into Hartford. Not too unusual, but steady traffic. And if you're going eastbound at 84, we've got all that traffic pretty much from Prospect Avenue all the way up into Hartford. Now, if you're going down 91, it's going to be slowing down into North Meadow and again for the last quarter mile or so into 84. As we check your ride on Route 2, that's busy up into 84. Moving along pretty well on Route 3. And 91 southbound gets you down into New Haven with just some stop and go. Traffic and weather together on the 8th. WTIC News Talk 1080.
WTIC weather.
For the rest of our Wednesday afternoon, sunny to partly cloudy, breezy and pleasant with the high of 70. Tonight, mainly clear, cooler, a bit chilly with the low down to 41. Another nice day for us on Thursday with a blend of sun and clouds, the high of 70. Overcast Thursday night, the low 51. Then Friday, cloudy and warm, showers and thunderstorms around, breezy in the afternoon too, and some of those storms could produce localized damaging wind gusts, hail, and flooding downpours, the high of 78. I'm meteorologist Jason Caterina in the WTIC Weather Center.
And now, a WTIC news update.
5:30, good afternoon. I'm John Silva. Ukrainian officials say Kyiv is ready to sign an agreement that would give the U.S. access to its valuable rare minerals in the hopes of ensuring continued American support in its war with Russia. The Prime Minister says Ukraine's economy minister flew to D.C. today to help finalize the deal. President Trump has indicated that he wanted to access the country's rare earth minerals as a condition for continuing support in the war. 3 juveniles and an adult male were arrested Tuesday for their alleged part in a school disturbance. Police say they were charged with breach of peace and interfering with police in that incident that took place at Kennedy High School. Swingers Club in the Terryville section of Plymouth is expected to shut down following action by the town's Zoning Board of Appeals Tuesday night. Parishioners at a nearby church were ticked off that the club operated in close proximity to Riverside Baptist Church. The owner of that club is threatening legal action. New Haven police say a person was stabbed early this morning. About 12:30, officers got the call. Criscolo Park, 44-year-old male being treated for minor injuries. And the government reported today the economy shrank at an annual rate of 0.3% during the first 3 months of the year. Behind the decline, a surge in imports as companies tried to front-run the president's tariffs on autos, steel, and aluminum. On Wall Street, mixed bag for the markets today. The Dow up 141 points, the Nasdaq down 14, and the S&P up 8. Red Sox baseball on the radio tonight. Sox game 2 of their series in Toronto with the Jays. 6:07 the pregame right after the news. Yanks play the rubber game of their 3-game series in Baltimore against the Orioles tonight, and the Mets are home to Arizona. Eastern League, Yard Goats and Chesapeake at Duncan Park, 7:10 first pitch there. For these stories and more, go to WTIC.com. I'm John Silva, WTIC 1080 News.
This is Dale for Northeast Men's Health, where we've successfully treated thousands of men for low testosterone and helped them feel like their old selves again. Please take a moment and listen to how we help Marty.
I was a really grumpy guy, sleeping like garbage, and getting older, the energy level was just in the toilet, and that was what led to me going in. I've been treated at Northeast Men's Health for low testosterone, coming on about 2 years now. Within a few weeks, I started noticing I was sleeping a little bit better. I definitely noticed a higher energy level, but the old man crankiness just went away. I'm able to stay really well organized. Nothing slips through the cracks. Having the T treatment is leading me to keep on top of my game. What I would say to any other guy that is in the same situation where they feel like they're dragging, just call Northeast Men's Health. You won't regret it.
Thanks, Marty. It's true. Low T therapy can dramatically change your life. Your initial appointment is only $99 with results in minutes. And if you start on testosterone the day of your appointment, your visit is free. Call today, 800-930-5956, or go to northeastmenshealth.com.
Johns Hopkins University. That just mild hearing loss doubles your risk of dementia. So hearing loss isn't something to ignore.
But hearing aids are so expensive and ugly.
Not anymore. Meet Audion Hearing. You can get nearly invisible hearing aids without a prescription starting at $98 a pair. And they're ready to use right out of the box. Rated the best hearing aids of 2025 by Forbes Health. And with over 1 million customers, Audion is easy to trust. Visit audionhearing.com. That's AUDIEN hearing.com.
When you haven't found love, it can feel like everyone else has. It's in every movie, every song, and all the PDA. Looking for love sucks. Thankfully, California Psychics can give you the guidance you need to find the one. We guarantee if your reading isn't life-changing, it's free. And new customers receive 20 minutes for just $20. Visit CaliforniaPsychics.com and experience the joy of certainty. California Psychics.
Hey, whoa, hold up. 100 candles on the cake? Who do you think's lighting this?
I will. It's Reese on the Radio. We're almost out of here. Let me go to Mark, back to Mark in West Hartford real quick. I do want to, you know what? I'll make the plea afterwards. Mark is back on the line with us.
Wait, hold on.
Yeah. What I wanted to say was, look, this is one of those things, and maybe I don't know if you remember this when I first got on WTIC. One of my biggest gripes about this and the news media was, look, one, we got to hold the media accountable and tell them, like, look, you guys obviously are not doing a service to us. You guys are doing the stenographer thing. But on the other hand, I said to you when we first met, when you and I first started communicating, I said, look, this is a prime opportunity for you, because I saw you when you first started posting and how the attention to what you were bringing up was starting to grow. People were sharing it. People were talking about it. It may have been in one space, but it started to grow and resonate with people because, and I think it was the most important thing, there was a thirst for somebody to cover the stuff that wasn't being covered or being ignored. So I know how angry you and everybody else gets about it, but I think that this is more of an opportunity than for you to go backwards and complain. I'm not trying to be dismissive, but you know what I mean. It's like you've got to be that voice when these guys, when their viewership or their subscriptions go down, this is an opportunity for yours to go up. Is that fair?
Yeah, no. And my take was always, a friend of mine told me there's different versions of the description gadfly.
Yeah.
And mine is the one to point out things and be a nuisance to prompt people to do the right thing, because I can't do any of this stuff.
Sooner
Whether
or
it's the
later,
politicians who vote on stuff.
Mark,
well-
they're going to start getting ticked off about getting scooped. You know what I mean? Like, I'll tell you like this. The regular journalists hate what you do, right? Because when it gets attention and it's resonating, if they aren't listening to them, which is a very egomaniacal place, when they're paying attention to you or their readers are citing, hey, did you see what this guy Mark, they know they're not being paid attention to, and they hate you for it. And what they have to do is one of two things. Either discredit you or start covering the stuff that you're covering to take the shine off of you. So what you're doing is a service to them. It's making them better or bitter. And you got to keep trucking along. I'm just saying, that's the way it is.
I pretty much gone my whole life, either you hate me or you love me, and that goes with people I worked with, friends, family, and now I'm finding out with whatever you want to call what I'm doing.
Yeah, but like I said, dude, that's the reason why, listen, regardless of you and I have had these, these tussles back and forth, but I tell, like I always say to Joe and Simsbury Joe all the time, I said, always tell Mark one thing, no matter he's mad at me or he's ticked off at me, whatnot. I love Mark. I've always got his back. I will always be his friend. The day that you told me that I was your friend, I was committed to being the same to you. So regardless of that, like I said, what you are doing, it's not about just doing a service. I believe in what you're doing. I support what you're doing, and I have your back. I am loyal to a fault that you and I listen, because I know what you were doing out here. You are fed up, and I wish to do nothing more than to assist you in making sure that we get a change in what's going on.
If you make your way up here, I want you to take part. It's easy for me. I had business in Hartford today, and I'll leave. I'm sure there's people want to call in, but I want people to go on Mark from West Hartford. And sometimes I innocently throw a video up, and I threw two up where I happen to be today. And these were areas of Hartford where, I grew up. I was born in 1960, and this area of Hartford was just, I can't even.
Oh no, I saw the video. I saw the pictures. They're awful.
Yeah. So one place that people hear about. And even those that don't know about it, they've heard the name Constitution Plaza.
Yeah.
So let me tell you, it was really a gem for many decades of my life until the last 25 or 30 years when the Dems came in. And so what I want to do is,
Mark, I have to go. They're gonna kick you off. I love you, bro. I got you, man. You got it. Let's get to another check of the weather and traffic with Jason Caterina, and in for Mark Christopher is Tom O'Hanlon.
The traffic continues to move slowly on the westbound side of 84 from Route 2 across the bridge into Hartford. On the eastbound side of 84, you're working your way up from Prospect Avenue with a lot of brake lights there heading for Hartford. 91 southbound heading on down through North Meadows. You've got some traffic. 291 is getting the job done. Now 91 on the northbound side, we're looking pretty good. Route 3 is moving, and a heads up around New Haven, a crash involving two vehicles. 91 southbound between exits 6 and 4. The left lane is shut down. Traffic and weather together on the 8th. WTIC News Talk 1080.
WTIC weather.
It's been a great day. We've got a nice night tonight, although a bit chilly, mainly clear, cooler, the low down to 42. Beautiful day for us again tomorrow. Very pleasant with a blend of sun and clouds on Thursday, the high of 72. Overcast, couple of showers Thursday night, the low 53. Friday, cloudy, warm, couple of showers and thunderstorms. Some of those could be strong to severe and produce localized damaging wind gusts, hail, and some flooding downpours, the high 78. Partly cloudy Friday night, remaining mild. Then Saturday, cloudy, couple of showers and a thunderstorm again. Still warm, the high 77. Periods of rain and thunderstorms on Saturday night. Then Sunday, cloudy, still a chance of rain. Not as warm either. The high of 66 for us as we head into the day on Sunday. Right now, it is, let's see here. It is 73 in New Haven, 66 in Waterbury, 68 in Hartford. I'm meteorologist Jason Caterina in the WTIC Weather Center.
Don't let a root canal scare you. Columbia Dental's endodontic experts provide gentle and effective root canal therapy. Open 7 days a week. Call 860-645-0111 or visit columbiadental.com.
Join us this Sunday for Tumalo Financial, your go-to for retirement planning and taxes. Tune in to the father-son duo from 7 a.m. to 8 a.m. or catch replay from 5 to 6 p.m. Tumalo Financial, retirement planning with integrity on WTIC News Talk 1080.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm. They told us nothing but lies.
These timeshare thieves out there are terrible.
They bullied us.
Our timeshare is all a scam.
They stole from us. They were thieves.
I was completely taken advantage of.
Hello, I'm Chuck McDowell, founder and CEO of Wesley Financial Group, and I know the tough spot you're in. Are you asking yourself, why did I buy that timeshare? I'll tell you why, because that presentation wasn't a normal sales pitch. It was a show to convince you that timeshare is a great investment. They told you it was available today and today only. They said you're foolish if you don't buy, and unfortunately, you believed them. We get over 3,000 complaints a week from folks just like you that were misled into buying a timeshare. Give us a call. I guarantee if we take you as a client, we will cancel your timeshare or you'll pay nothing.
Call now for your free information kit. 800-885-3300. 800-885-3300. 800-885-3300. Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm.
If you were misled or lied to in any way when buying a timeshare, right now is your wake-up call. With the tariffs, economy tanking, and inflation rising, you might need to ask yourself this question. Is owning a timeshare a good idea? With all the economic uncertainty, you need to protect yourself and your family. Don't look back and say, if I'd have only got rid of that stupid timeshare they lied to me about. It's time to stop thinking about canceling your timeshare and finally get rid of it and be smart with your money. At Wesley Financial Group, we've saved 48,000 families an average of $65,000 in lifetime payments. Give us a call. I guarantee if we take you as a client, we will cancel your timeshare permanently or you'll pay nothing.
Call Wesley for your free timeshare exit kit. 800-854-4040. 800-854-4040. 800-854-4040.
What's up, everybody? You know who it is.
You know who it is.
You know who it is. It's Reese on the Radio. Frederick Douglass of the 21st century.
It's WTIC News Talk 1080.
All right, and we're back. Now, look, I'm going to be honest. I'm going to ask the folks over at the Friendly Hand, over at Between Rounds, I'm going to ask them, I'm going to say, hey, how did we do? And I want them to be honest with you. Jerry, if you're listening, be honest with me. If we did good, I'll be happy with no matter what the number was. It's whatever. If we did good, I will applaud my audience. If we did horrible, I will chastise them. No, I won't chastise them. I'll totally appreciate no matter what they did. If we did 400 sandwiches in a month, it would be great. Just to help out the folks over at the Friendly Hands Food Bank. So I appreciate all of you and everything you did this month to go out and purchase a Reese's Peanut Butter and Jelly Sandwich. It was done on the fly. I want to thank the folks at the Friendly Hands Food Bank. I love their sponsorship here. They have been great people to me and this station, and it is great to be a part of that and work with them. And they have been so kind, and I can only extend what I call a great love and respect for them. So, and I want to thank the sales team for making this happen, Janine and everybody else. And if we're lucky, we'll do this again next year. If not, this would have been that inaugural one that will be the template for future failures. No, I'm kidding. I'm sure it did all right. I'm sure it did okay. I'm always shooting low, but I really believe that it probably did well. But we'll find out what the numbers are, and I'll share them with you. Let me get these last couple of phone calls in, so we can get out of here. Was there another clip that I needed to play just to make sure I don't want to miss anything that I didn't touch today? I got the Canadian thing. I got Chuck Schumer. I got all of that. So, yeah, all right. All of that is good. Maybe we should try and see if we can get Gary Winfield on, the senator from New Haven. Let's see if we can. Anyway, let's go to our good friend, White Mike. He's calling all the way from Florida. How we doing, boss?
Oh, man. Well, I was going to go in a different direction than I'm going to go, but I happened to be scrolling Facebook, and I saw a post from our friend Dan Bongino.
Okay.
Saying this is insane. So I clicked it up, and here's the post. U.S. District Judge Jennifer Thurston has ordered that Border Patrol cannot arrest suspected illegal aliens without a warrant.
Yes.
According to her ruling, Border Patrol must have reasonable suspicion to detain individuals and cannot pressure them into voluntary departure without informing them of their rights and obtaining their consent to leave.
Right. I did see that story today.
Now, you know my feeling on the matter.
Yes. Beyond a shadow of a doubt.
have no business in anything of any importance because they're too emotional and obviously crazy. This woman is looking at these people like, oh, these poor downtrodden fleeing oppression migrants.
Right.
And she's going to get people killed because she's a stupid, emotional broad.
Right. Because, again, they're going to be in a situation where ICE may be interacting with someone who is desperately trying to get out of the clutches of ICE, which turns that into a situation that not just involves the officer's safety, but the people around them.
Telling you, bro, the worst mistake we ever made was the 19th Amendment. It's time
You know
to go
what?
back to
I'm telling you that sentiment is growing. Even though I disagree with it, it is growing. It's growing beyond my control, by the way. Okay?
I saw somebody online who said that we should have, like, elections just for women, where you let them vote on stuff like colors of the White House and Barbie and stuff, and tell them it's important, and then we vote on the real important stuff. Because clearly they're useless. You know,
Yeah,
that if only
what?
white
I'm so
men
glad you
voted-
wait until the end of the show to do this. Do you know I'm doing a whole segment for women on Friday just so I can get more women into the fold? And then you come in and you start talking about the 19th Amendment. You were just completely crapping on everything I'm trying to establish here.
Do you know that if only men voted in this country, we'd never have a Democrat president?
I
Kennedy?
truly do believe that. I really do. I think you're right. But you know what? I don't think that's, in a lot of ways, you know, people would say, you know, that would just be another form of one-party rule. But, you know, I will say this. You know, it's so funny that you say this, Mike. When I was in radio back in the early days, right, when I did did the show on Hot 97, we had a female on the show. And what the program director said, I'll never forget it, is that the reason why we have a female co-host, who, by the way, contributed to nothing, she was a layabout on that show. They said, the reason why we need to have her there is because it lightens the show. And our view on that was, our pedal is to the floor. We're not trying to lighten up anything. Like, we are trying to get to the subject, get to the what's name. We don't need somebody to gussy up the place. We're actually trying to talk to hard-hitting stuff on the air.
And real quick, I'm going to drop my final funny bomb on you.
Yes.
I'm pushing for Harvey Weinstein to be let out of prison and given his old job back. Because when he was casting broads, movie stars were a lot better looking. I'm tired of being told Zendaya is a homely chick. She's mid at best.
You know what? I'm not even going to
say
say that because I have a joke that's about Zendaya that people aren't going to like, and it's very, very sad. But I appreciate
Tom
you.
Holland's prettier than
Tom Holland is prettier than Zendaya. Boy, my wife is going to love you saying that.
All right, man. Have a good one.
You got it, boss man. Let's go to, can I go to Stephen Waterbury? Let's go to Stephen Waterbury. How are you, sir?
I'm doing good. I actually have a comment, not today, but about Uncle Ben's rice, and I'll fill you on that sometime.
Okay.
To give you a little teaser. But I just wanted to know, I've got two comments to make. A question, first of all. Whatever happened to that bike ride plan you had there?
Okay, so that's, again, we are still working on that. Craig in the car, my good friend, has got a great spot for us in the northeastern region of Connecticut. I guess it's near a country club that's down there. I watched some video that he sent me of that, and we are trying to work around. We're going to get some people to figure out how we can do this. I think we're going to make it a 10-mile ride, and the way that we are scoping this out is that if it has wheels, you can bring it as long as it's not gas powered. So if it's electric powered, if it's a roller skate, if it's roller blades, if it's a scooter, as long as it's got wheels, it's the Reese on the Radio ride, just nothing gas powered. And
now, would a unicycle?
A unicycle counts. A unicycle counts. I would love to see a unicycle out there. Are you kidding me? Without a doubt. I mean, in fact, I'm going to put that at the top of the list. To have a unicycle, someone's got to bring one.
There you go. Now, my next thing is, you were talking about ICE a few minutes ago. I'm thinking if they were to change their name Nice to Nice, they might draw in more people. Maybe they could even have like an ice cream social.
That's exactly right. Hey, kids, Nice is coming.
The Nice Cream Man.
The Nice Cream Man is coming. I was like, why do they have guns?
Don't neighborhood.
Yeah, exactly. You have no idea what people will do to get a fudgy wudgy bar around here.
Absolutely.
Thank you, Steve. Much
All right,
appreciated,
Reese.
buddy. Have a good one.
Take care.
You got it. Let's go to Jeff, who's in Marlboro. How are you, sir?
Yeah, I'm not doing bad. How about you, buddy?
I'm good, sir. What's up?
Yeah, so I'm just wondering real quick, what happened to that story with that woman in Hartford who was asked to do a favor by her boss, and then do
you
know what I'm talking about?
Look, yes, I do, of course. Janet Serrano. So there has been a huge lawyer up on this case. The Hartford school system has rendered the story closed. There have been 4 requests. One has been gleaned so far. That was from Mark Fitch at the Connecticut Insider. I have one last interview that I need to, I have to legally clear in order to, and that's going to take some doing, in order to get to the bottom of this. And let me just put it to you this way. We're never going to find out exactly what took place because no one wants to talk. No one wants to talk.
Like reading a book with a huge cliffhanger.
Exactly. I couldn't agree with you more. And this is the part that, the reason why I'm so disappointed in it is because out of abject fear and what I can only describe as personal, I don't want to use the term selfishness. I don't think it's selfishness. I just think that personal gain and personal aggrandizement that we're never going to get to the bottom of the story or the bottom of it because other people are playing obstacle maker in all of this. But I'm going through the motions, and we will get to the bottom of the story. Let's just say I'm 85% there. I just I have to finish one more hurdle, and I'm probably just going to post it outside of the show where everybody will be able to get the details. So I will have an answer for you very soon.
She said, she's coming out like a lion, like I'm going to expose all this stuff.
Indeed.
And then all of a sudden it was dead. And
and because unfortunately they made it that this person made it that way, and it puts all the rest of us in mind because a lot of us have stuck our neck out. Myself, Mark in West Hartford, we had journalists who were out there, and it turned into this whole thing where it became more about them protecting themselves than protecting the people who are being harmed. And that's the part that drives me nuts in all of this. And it's the same case with this Solomon Schechter school. It is turned into now. I have more details about that will blow your mind. As soon as I can get through the Solomon Schechter school that we reported on yesterday, this story gets deeper as we report on it. It seems like now, just because we reported on it, more and more people are putting more gates up, putting more walls up.
Yeah, that's got to be a disgusting mess. All they want to do is protect themselves.
Exactly.
Some disgusting pervert who wants to tickle your kid at his school.
Yeah. Again,
God,
like I said,
I remember going to school. No teacher ever tickled me, for crying out loud.
It's again, like I said, it's insane. I hear everybody, they're circling the wagons, and I'm just like, do you not understand what's at play here? We're talking about the welfare of children, and the only person you're thinking about protecting is yourselves. You're scumbags. It's amazing.
Yeah, and their donors and their big bank accounts and their
indeed,
indeed, their retirement. Yeah.
Yeah. So, somebody, actually, I'll go this far, Jeff, before I get to the last call of the day. I'll put it to you this way. Somebody of prominence was asked about me, and do you know what they said? They said, yeah, I know that guy. He's a jerk. I'm the jerk?
Well,
really?
Well, aren't you?
Yeah, dude, I'm the jerk in all of this? That's the way you scoped this out. You looked at this story and you went, the jerk here is Reese on the Radio. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah, that's where we are, buddy. Thank you, Jeff. I appreciate you, sir.
Yeah, 10,000s of listeners are jerks, too.
Yeah, you got it. Exactly. And let's get to our last but not least caller of the day, who is going to receive a dozen bagels a month for 6 months, courtesy of Between Rounds. We got Susan in Connecticut. How are you, Susan?
I'm okay. I'm calling about a bill that's going to be voted on tomorrow in the Connecticut legislature. It's called HB 7213.
HB7, give me a second.
Posted, and it's not what it's posted about. What it really is, what they're voting on, is killing babies after they're born and requiring medical people to participate in abortions and killing babies, whether they want to or not.
Okay, that was what the gentleman called about earlier. Okay, we will have that for everybody tomorrow, first thing at the top of the hour. Okay? And I will definitely look into the bill.
They're voting on it tomorrow.
Okay. Well, Susan, stand by real quick. We're going to make sure that we get all your information so that we can get you your bagels, all right? And, we'll go into HB 7213. We'll talk about that. Yeah, it's infanticide indeed, Lori. That's exposing the vile and repulsive, and I'm the jerk. That's impossible. It's incredible to actually listen to these people. They are incredible to watch and to listen to. I hear you say I'm the... No, I said I'm supposed to be the jerk, Mark. They're saying that I'm the jerk because I'm exposing the abuse. Yeah, I know that guy, Reese on the Radio. He's a jerk. Well, what did he do? He exposed abuse at the school. Oh, yeah, that sounds like a jerk. Yeah, 100% right. These people, they don't impress me. They don't. It's just incredibly hilarious. You don't impress me one bit. It's got to drive you nuts. It really does. It's got to drive you nuts to even hear my voice. And I hope it does. I hope my arrogance upsets you. I hope it makes you cry at night. In the fetal position with your thumb in your mouth. Oh, as I always say, radio is free, so we thank you for paying attention. Remember to keep JC in your hearts and in your minds. Sean Patrick, we love you and we miss you. Remember that panic is not planning. So plan your work and work your plan. Me, I'm Reese on Radio. You have a good day. Pleasant tomorrow. We'll see you back here mañana. Jason Caterina's got another check of your weather, and Tom O'Hanlon is still in for Mark Christopher in the BPS Traffic Center. Good night.
I'm Tom O'Hanlon from the BPS Center. We're getting a little bit better now at 84 westbound. We still have people creeping along for that last quarter.
All right, sir.
Up Route
All
2
right,
into
good
84
show.
Westbound. Once you get over onto the bridge a little.
Oh, she hung up.
Town Hartford.
Oh.
If you're going up the eastbound direction on 84.
Anyway.
It looks a lot
All right,
better from
whatever.
Prospect Avenue on up.
I think she was more concerned about the bill
about
that
the
she's
bill.
trying to. She
Yeah.
called Tom's show, too.
Oh, you see?
91
Okay.
is
Yeah, he didn't put her on, though.
Meadows.
Well,
We've
you know,
just got
that's how
some
that
brake
goes.
lights happening there,
Okay.
getting down towards
All right,
Hartford.
I will
On the
hi-ya to
northbound side
mañana.
of 91.
Yes, sir.
All right,
Good. Route 3.
I'm sorry, I'm just reading something Craig just wrote to me. He texted me. He said, "It is 100% clear that White Mike does not have a corporate job." You are 100%. Because I know him personally, you couldn't be more spot on. That's why I'm laughing at that. Oh, goodness gracious. 8 million dimes was spilled on the Texas highway. What's all this Texas news that I'm missing? All right, I love you guys. Trick Step, without a doubt, we're definitely getting together, man. We're doing more than coffee, man. We're breaking bread with everybody. So we're going to, like I said, I'm hoping to incorporate the Hartford Gang. And I think that's what I'm going to refer to it. I'm going to call it the Hartford Gang when I get up there. And I'm praying, I've got some, I don't have any details yet, but I do understand that there's been a degree of finalizing, if you will. And like I said earlier, my mission is to get up there late August, early September, establish where we're going to stay as far as apartments go. I may have to hotel live it for a little while like I did when I went to Boston, but I'm raring to go with that. Okay? I love you guys. As always, y'all be good, and we'll see you mañana. And watch this. Did you see this new thing that I put together? This is AI with Reese on the Radio saluting. This is actually kind of cool.